It's time for the Jay Foreman Postgame Show.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
Look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinnie Creekab, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
Here's Fuente dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ooh. What up? This is Jay Foreman, after game show. 218, 13-10 loss for the Huskers to the Maryland Terrapins. I think it's a lot to digest. Obviously, frustration is going to be at an all-time high. I know that I encourage everybody to call in and, we'll hear it. It's one of those things that when you play this unique game of football and you play in November, it's when the most stressful and the most competitive times come out, and you have to make sure that you're always on point to try to make the simple play look fabulous in order to win a game. And that could be as simple as holding on to the football, hitting the open receiver, catching the ball with your hands, or whatever you want to call it. And, when you're out here, and I call it playing for keeps, right? Playing for keeps is a chance to get to a bowl game, be a part of history if essentially a big part of in a potential win to do so at home. Pretty valiant, decent defensive effort. There was some positive there. I'm not going to sit up here and try to, say you act like we got blown out 45-7 or something like that. But I think it's just another case of missed opportunity, learning how to play. I call it the 12 segmented situational football areas and tied up into a 60-minute football game. And some of the things that we didn't do, I think we could have probably played a lot better on third and extremely long. I think Maryland killed us on third and 8+. They should be 1 for 8. I think they did pretty well there. So it's not all defense played spectacular, but you hold the team in a high-powered offense like that to 13 points, the last 3 coming with 3 or 4 seconds left. Look, Nick, I think DP said we got to score 31 points. I didn't think so. I felt like we could run the ball against them. I think we did. At times, conventional run game was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I think the offensive line blocked more than well enough to win the game. The offensive line.
Yeah, I would agree.
This has probably been that was probably their most complete game. Now, there was times that when Maryland was selling out, trying to stop the run because we had been gashing them, that we weren't able to get some movement, especially before that last interception. But ultimately, I think they blocked pretty well, and you got to give them kudos there. I guess I'd probably say I've been more a part of these at the NFL level. Especially that year down in Houston. Walking into the locker room, losing 17-14 or something like that. And, going into double overtime, maybe I'm thinking about against the Patriots or the Panthers or something, these different types of games and stuff like that. And it's a lot of self-inflicted wounds. I don't think I don't think anybody leaves that game thinking we played a superior team. And this is taking nothing against Maryland. Maryland just took advantage of our mistakes. And give them credit. That's what you're supposed to do in the game of football. If a team throws it to you, catch it and give it to your quarterback and drive all the way down and leave no stone unturned and get a field goal. There's plenty to talk about. Everybody can go back and talk about certain parts in the game, but ultimately we had the game, in a way that we could have had it, and we just didn't grasp it. I mean, again, if you want to just go and instead of pointing the fingers, look. They get the ball at the 12-yard line. Defenses should be good enough to get off the field. Mm-hmm. Okay, they drove it down there systematically and did it. Now, it's always a cause and effect. This is just being honest. We just didn't make the right plays at the right time to win the game. We made a lot of plays at the wrong time to put them in numerous positions to win the game. I'm sure Maryland's thinking we should have won the game by 2 scores. We turned the ball over. Well, they score, right? Bang, bang, right? Yeah. We come right back after throwing an interception. We turn the ball over deep in our red zone. Defense battles back, gets a turnover. Chuba Purdy takes us all the way down there, and we turn it back over. Game, set, match.
I think there's a lot of negative things, as you said, Jay. Emmett Johnson was the best running back on the field today.
Oh, well, no, yeah, of course.
Emmett Johnson was the best running back on the field today. 17 carries, 84 yards for the redshirt freshman. His counterpart was Roman Hemby, 16 carries, 74 yards. A lot of those came on that final drive for the Maryland Terrapins. But man, it's an ugly stat sheet when your quarterback room combines to go 10 of 21 for 86 yards, 0 touchdown passes, and 4 interceptions. Just
4?
4 interceptions.
I thought it was a 3 and a fumble.
Jeff Sims had 2 INTs, Heinrich with 1, Chuba with 1, and Jeff Sims also had a fumble. So there's your 6 turnovers on the day for the, or excuse me, 5 turnovers on the day for the Nebraska offense.
Yeah, so, I think right now we got Jim and
so let's go to
Jim and Patrick.
Yeah, let's go.
Which one? Jim first.
Let's go to Jim first.
Right. Jim, it sounds like you need to put your seatbelt on, brother.
Yeah. Jim, are you there, my man?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, what you got for us?
Hey, I was just going to point out that on Purdy, on that last interception, there was a guy wide open. It was the same exact play in the Minnesota game that Jeff Sims missed and tried to throw into double coverage in the corner of the end zone. Same exact thing. The guy was underneath, wide open. He could have taken 2-3 steps and been in the end zone. And it's just funny to me that we have the same exact play, 2 different quarterbacks making the same mistake. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I appreciate that, Jim. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again to see if it was the same, play. I do think it looked like, and I can't speak for Chuba or Malachi or whatever. I can't speak for anyone. I really don't even need to mention their name, but it looked like he was throwing to where somebody was supposed to be and didn't get there. And he obviously threw it right to the corner. I don't know who else. He looked and appeared. The route in the play call looked good. Now you can get into whether you should have ran the ball and all that. Okay, that's a fair conversation for whenever people that want to ask. But ultimately, I'm only gonna. I like to look at the play was called right. Was the play the play was called? Okay, was it executed correctly? For the most part, it was. There was one part of it wasn't. It looked, first of all, the read was right, because if he would have, I felt like if he would have kept going, he would have caught it, or at least been a chance, right? Like you stop on a route, then it's just kind of, and you also have to factor in Chuba hasn't played all year.
No,
has been in and out of practice for injury. Malachi's just playing, so you have essentially 2 freshmen out there trying to execute in the red zone, which everybody will tell you in the red zone things get faster and a lot more intense, and every misstep or second guess is magnified, and that's what you saw. So that's not making an excuse, because they would tell you, I've been on the team long enough, I'm in there, I got to make the right play, and that's what you want to do. Ultimately, one of the 4 interceptions, they're all bad. I mean, as a quarterback room, you don't want to have 4 interceptions. So it's just look, the energy that Chuba provided, which I hated for him, is that he was able to come in. He played with tremendous energy, was on point, fit balls in.
Had a nice ball to Billy Kemp.
Right, Billy Kemp. It was step back through it. I mean, everything that you kind of heard about Chuba, you were seeing it. And then you got down to the red zone, and on first down, he made a really good play where the play was kind of busted up, got outside the pocket, threw it out of bounds. Right, that's a good quarterback play. Next play was like kind of a inside, take or inside zone. That was stuff. Then you come back to a play on 3rd down, 3rd and 7, essentially 3rd and goal. It looks like a good play call for that coverage. I mean, it was open. It just
didn't get made. Like, that's the thing is, there's a lot of people that are mad that Nebraska didn't run it on that 3rd down and goal. And I understand that from a you need points in the worst way there. Points are at a premium. And obviously, like if Nebraska was to get a field goal, the way this thing shook out, you feel like maybe Nebraska wins 13-10 or it's tied 13-13 because you have a lot of faith and confidence in your defense. I wasn't necessarily disappointed with the decision to pass because your 2 run plays on 1st and goal and 2nd and goal both got stuffed to begin with. And so I wasn't too disappointed with the decision to pass. It was, you just got to find a guy that can deliver the mail and on the backside, a guy that can haul it in. Because like you said, Jay, it was a play that had open options, right?
Yeah.
Nebraska had a guy that was open, and maybe it was a bad decision by the quarterback. Maybe it was a receiver on the back end stopped a little short. Whatever the case may be, it didn't work. So now we're talking about it.
Yeah,
but it was open. There was. I'm not mad about the play call. It just I'm disappointed that it wasn't executed again.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you could say we ran it. I mean, I guess you just never know. You run it, you get stuffed, and then you have a ton of people talking about you need be more aggressive and go for the win.
Yeah, exactly.
You go, or not even go for the win. Go for a touchdown. I just hate that the play wasn't executed to the extra 10% because the play was there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I hate. And that, look, I can agree. Yeah, sure. Hindsight, we'd like to run it and take the points. That's what you do.
Yeah.
A team that struggled to get the ball into the points, into the end zone and through the upright. Sure. Take the points. Keep the momentum going. But I can guarantee you from a coach's perspective, that play is not a high-risk play.
No.
It's not a high-risk play. It's not a throw it up 50-50 ball. Deion Sanders is covering somebody or somebody like that. Or the corner that they had last year to win first round.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like that. It was a play concept. And I'm not really sure if it's the same one as Minnesota, which I don't care about because Minnesota play, that's one thing. It was not a high risk play call. You can ask anybody you want about whether you do run or not. That's an opinion. I'm going to deal with the results or like what we saw. The result is the play was called. I don't think it was a high risk play.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't executed to the maximum that you needed.
We're getting a lot of reaction on that play, but let's first go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline where we have Patrick on the line. Patrick, are you still there, my man?
Patrick is mad.
Patrick is done.
Patrick, call back, Jack. We'll get you right in. I promise.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to some of the reaction because people are coming at me and coming at us, Jay. Old Dad 34 says, Jay, who is on here with you? Is he drunk because we should have run the ball and kicked the field goal? Now, here's the thing. I understand that I just said points are at a premium all game. I understand. I would have been fine with a run. But also, if you don't have a quarterback on your entire roster that can make a 7-yard pass, then you need to reassess your entire quarterback room.
Yeah,
like you just said, though, it's not
that's the end of the season.
It is.
Thought process right now in the arena of competing. I understand what
especially when Emmett Johnson got you down there.
Right.
I completely understand that.
Right. And nobody's losing this argument. See, I think that sometimes you guys need to start listening versus hearing. I can understand and I can argue. I could get into a courtroom and argue on your behalf that we should have ran the ball.
Yeah.
I am talking about what was decided and how it was executed as far as the pass plays called.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's no different than if Jay Foreman, which has happened to me millions of times, you called man-to-man defense and I'm going against Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez. Most likely, if I get beat for a touchdown in a crucial part, you were like, yeah, you probably should have had, safety help with zone. Well, did I have the right read? Did the defensive line run all these, there's a lot of factors in it. And this is not making excuses on either side. I'm just dealing with the factual things that I know. The play was called. Let's look at the execution. But I do see your point also, Nick. we should be able to execute a simple play that we probably have seen so many times on Friday night at Seacrest or wherever we're calling games in high school. So that's also a factor. I'm also assuming that they've seen all their quarterbacks be able to execute that play. Mm-hmm. Who the hell is this? She's the one. Yeah. She said we needed to run too. Yeah. But I'm sure they've seen it executed in practice. The problem is that you get out there and it wasn't executed. Now, nobody's, should be so mad at somebody that says, you could have ran it and they passed it. Well, they passed it. Okay, let's look what happened on the pass. Was the play? Because I'm going to look at, was the play concept good enough to get a positive result?
Yeah. Okay. Let's go through all these here. Because we got a lot of them. Let's see. At what point do we start running the Wildcat formation? Gene and Lincoln says, come on, fellas. Third string quarterback, 3:40 left in the game. Field goal gives you lead with 3 minutes left. Zero choice but to kick it. Craig says quarterbacks don't have field vision. Read the room and run the damn ball. PCAT says, then you don't call a damn pass, man. Come on. At what point do we blame Satterfield and his scheme over the QBs? No way we somehow have the three worst quarterbacks in college football. Cubsker says, Nick, we've been saying we have no quarterback all season. What would change now? Let's see. Believer says, I am okay with it. ... Chris in Omaha, the defense can't sustain the punishment week in and week out. The ineptitude of this offense is killing the defense. Let's see. Here we go. What about the soft bleep defensive secondary coverage?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of look when you lose a game like this. And this is what I encourage all you guys. I want you guys to continue to light our text line up and watch us on YouTube, and we're here for it. Okay, give me all your energy. I mean, first of all, I can take it. First of all, I ain't playing, so I ain't really worried about it. But here's what you have to understand when you're in a tight game like this, right? And I always say this: every team. If I could talk to any player in college or any player on a team that's ranked 15 and below, that means 15 to like what, 132?
Yeah,
right.
130.
You're 130. Okay, everything you do is 4th and 1. Game on the line. When you wake up in the morning, do you have to, when you try to get to meetings, it's 4th and 1. You got to get there. You know what I'm saying? When you got to get one more rep as far as in the weight room, you've got to get it. You've got to finish every run. And the reason why I'm saying that, because in a tight game like this, the more that you're mentally trained to make sure that every play on third down in the middle of the second quarter, when it's a 7-0 game and you feel pretty comfortable how you're playing on defense, and we need to make an open field tackle on 3rd and 15 and don't let them turn up and get an extra 15 yards, which then puts our coordinators, both offense and defense, with their backs against the wall. Defensive coordinator presently calling it. Offense, if you get the ball back, we're getting the ball back on the 5-yard line. Every single play is 4th and 1 mentality. And that's how you get out there, and then that's how you don't miss numerous amount of tackles when you should be stopping people.
Let's go right back to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We got Patrick back on the phone. Patrick, appreciate you calling back, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, just 2 quick comments. How, before Maryland did the game-winning drive, did we not kick a field goal and have it 13-10, even if they would have drove down and kicked field goal, we'd been going to overtime? And why in the 4th quarter of the season are we having 5 turnovers? I mean, 5. I mean, it's unbelievable this late in the season to have 5 turnovers. And I'm sure we've got a record for turnovers this season. And the last thing I want to say is to all of the veterans out there, active duty military, thank you for your service, from one veteran to all of you guys. And Jay, I'm going to get you that mini helmet so you can autograph for me, man. And I'll listen offline.
I appreciate that, man. We appreciate
Thanks,
you too,
Patrick.
Patrick. One, for being a veteran. Today is the celebration of everything you guys done. You guys have laid it on the line, more than any athlete could. So that's definitely appreciated. All the veterans as well. We appreciate you, Patrick, calling back in and dropping knowledge. And they are legitimate, points where you got 5 turnovers in a tight game, and you can't. I said, when me and DP had our segment on the A1 Automotive Tailgate pregame show, brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. I said that, we had the 2 or 3 T's, man. There, you got to, time of possession, turnovers, and tackling, right? I mean, that's it. That's what this game, because when I looked at Maryland, okay, I looked at what they did well, right? I looked at what other teams did against them, and I looked at what Nebraska needed to do in order to win. You had to win the turnover battle, right? And slash not turn the ball over at a high rate. We had to have the time of possession, which we did. We had to tackle well against their offense, right? Which is up in the air, which I feel like our defense could have tackled a little bit better, right?
Agree.
So,
especially in third and long situations.
You're out of the 3, there you go, Bonzo play. Hey, there you go. Especially when you're thinking about the turnover margin or turnover battle or too many turnovers, we lost that, right? I feel like time of possession we won, right? So we went 1.5 where we needed to win 2 out of the 3. And the tackling really probably didn't really hurt us, but I think it's the leaky yardage and the huge the too high of a percentage of Maryland being successful, especially early in the game, Nick, on 3rd and 7 and 8, 9, 10 plus. You know what I mean? That was that was. I mean, those are downs as a defense. You need to be licking your chops. You need to be thinking about playing situational football again. All those are different segmented because you play 3rd and longer distances differently based on where you're at on the field and the time of the game. We just weren't successful there tonight. Today.
The phone number to call and text 402-464-5685. Shout out to Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical for their support of the Foreman Postgame show. Let's get to some of these texts because they're coming in like crazy. Thunder Not Calling says, why does it seem like play calling gets really head scratchy inside the 20-yard line? Unnamed texter says, we don't have a quarterback that should be playing in a Power 5 game. This is the most pathetic quarterback play I have ever seen. Why should Tony White stick around when he has to overcome an inept offensive coaching staff? So there you go. There's just a couple. I mean, out of 50 or 60 that we have here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the frustration is after last week, and then obviously, you throw in this game here in that last, say 4 minutes or last 6 minutes, right? Where you're so much excitement. You see a spark, 3rd string quarterback coming off, looks like a quarterback, does everything you need to do, what you'd like to do, get down in the red zone, miscommunication and bad execution, and then you end up losing the game kind of on a bleeder drive from their 13, 14-yard line to kick a 24-yard field goal to lose. There's a lot of frustration. Then you start to look back at some of the stats and all this other stuff. And, I think, look, it's a team game. I mean, I think that, Tony White, and it would probably say the defense could have played better because if you held them to 13, you feel like you could hold them to nothing. Yeah. And that's the way you got to have the mentality. And I've been in this situation, though, and that's why I can talk freely about it based on the experience that I had playing for Houston. I've been in these games. This is as a professional. That means jobs are on the line, contracts are on the line, incentives are on the line, and you have to say, okay, well, if we done a really good job against the Tennessee Titans and held them to 17 points, well, and we lost 17-13, well, we need to hold them to 10. Then you start to think about all the the plays, maybe in the first part of the game. Did we give up too many first downs to kind of always be behind the chains per se in the field position battle for the first quarter and a half? Well, as an offense, that doesn't give you any room to breathe. So now I'm in ultra conservative mode, and the defense is in essentially survival mode. Then you get to where you're being more aggressive and attacking, and then when you attack and then you start to get the ball back, you bend but no break, make some big plays, get the turnovers, try to force the action a little bit. and then you let yourself down by letting them walk the ball down the field. So I mean, there's a lot of things that inside that 3-point loss, that you can control on both sides of the ball.
Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Danico on the line. Danico, appreciate you hanging on. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys, how you doing today?
Not too bad.
Well, I can tell you this, guys. When you lead the nation in turnovers, which is 27 today, and you have 5 turnovers in a game, you can put a lot of pressure on your defense. And so I know we want to talk about a lot of missed tackles and things like that, but we knew coming into this year that this was going to be a tough transition with Matt Rule, and I'm giving him a lot of leeway. But what's really kind of wearing on me is the way this offense is playing. I know that Matt Rule does a lot of pay a lot of attention to the defense, the coordinating and the defensive team, but he needs to start putting some of that attention on the offense and let's see what's going on. Because I know we don't have great quarterbacks, but they should be able to complete passes and be able to not turn the football over, guys.
Appreciate you, Danico.
Yeah, I mean, it's par for the course. I think the biggest thing Nebraska, Matt Rule is trying to get these guys to do, and it's a little bit of, again, week to week, day by day, game by game, and there's only two games left. Is I call it walk and chew gum, playing pitch and catch. In your world, Nick, in baseball is, can you throw it from shortstop to first base and second to third and pitcher to home without a whole bunch of pass balls and playing situational baseball? That's really what they're doing. He's trying to get them to play legitimate football. This has nothing to do with athletic ability. Nothing to do with athletic ability. People could be quick to be like, oh, well, we need, higher rated recruits. Okay, that's every team in the nation. You think Nick Saban wouldn't like a little bit better quarterback play? Yeah. Probably a little bit better offensive line play, but they figured it out, right? Because everybody kind of, bared down, and the players took it upon themselves to play better individually, which led to collective play within their scheme. So Matt Rule is trying to get these guys to understand how important every single play is when he's talking and preaching about turnovers and turnover margin and all that stuff. You can get into play call and the philosophy and all that, and that's understandable, right? Because as a coach, whether you're highly compensated or not, you're always going to be evaluated, right? And there's no different than any other business, whether it's, a basketball coach, you're wondering who's going to play, who's not going to play. So it really comes down to this turnover. I don't, it's like a plague or like a infestation that's going on. It's like you're doing it, and it's like you're caught up in this tidal wave. You can't believe it. And all turnovers aren't the same, right? So if an interception is off somebody's hands, that's and it's a catchable ball, that's not necessarily on the quarterback, right? The ones that are thrown in the coverage, or somebody makes a great defensive play, so forth and so on. I'm sure that Maryland's thinking they shouldn't have turned the ball over that much, right? It just happens. It just so happens that when you've turned the ball over at the rate that we've had from the very first season, or first game of the season, it becomes a thing, and you have to be very self-conscious of it, to rectify it.
Well, and just something to point out here, speaking of turnovers, Nebraska started their drive on the Maryland side of the field 2 times. Both of those times were off of the fumble and interception from Maryland on consecutive possessions, actually. And that is how Nebraska got the 10 points. So they went, would have been 27 yards and scored the touchdown in 6 plays. And then after the Javen Wright interception, which was a really athletic play by Javen, right, who had a great game.
He had a great game.
Javen Wright had a great game after the interception. 6 plays, 11 yards, and they settled for that field goal. And that was in the first, 4 minutes and 9 seconds in that third quarter. Both of those 10 points came for the Huskers. So I think, once again, looking at some of the text lines here, text line texts, Sims back-to-back turnovers killed us. Satterfield should resign. Here we go. In Rule's first season, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that we go 5-7, assuming that we lose out after losing a lot of starters, I'd have taken it. With that said, we are so close. How about this? AA Ron says if all of our QBs aren't up to par, that has to fall squarely on the coaches. Get your guys ready and make sure they can execute, or they shouldn't be out there throwing the game away. Are they really all so bad that we have no choice but to play mediocre quarterbacks? I would say, Aaron, you played your top 3 quarterbacks on the depth chart today. So I mean, that's kind of what Nebraska has. Let's go back to the phone lines, Jay, where we have Mark on the line. Mark, appreciate you hanging on. What's on your mind? Mark, are you there?
Hey, I just wanted to, can you hear me?
Yep. What you got?
Okay. I appreciate you guys' show. I wanted to tell you I'm a big fan of the show and a big fan of Jay's in the 90s. And one of the things that's, I guess, I was concerned about from the beginning, I love Matt Rule. I think our DC was an excellent hire. OC I was worried about because I know how much he likes to throw the ball. Not that I'm against throwing the ball, but I wish that we would throw off the run. We'd run more under center. We seem to do a lot better hitting the line of scrimmage faster. Emmett Johnson's an excellent running back, and I don't think we utilize him near enough. And then throw off that, I think we'd have a lot more success. And that's just really what I wanted to say. I wish we would actually stick with the running game. That would be our base, and we do everything off that, considering especially where we are in the development of our offense. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean, you're not playing with like the best set of cards when you're trying to obviously be at the poker table right now with Nebraska's at, but you got to make do with it, right? You got to try to extend the the poker match or whatever you're doing or whatever analogy you want to use it, and you got to ham and egg your way to to win a game. And sometimes you get guys in there that just don't understand the magnitude of every single play and the way it goes. And then next thing you know, you're always playing like you're on the defense, or you're always on your heels. And I'd have to sit back and really, maybe like when I do Inside the Huddle, look at the play call and all that stuff. You never want to do it when it's so close to the emotion of frustration, because then you could say or think something that's not naturally true, right? But everybody's going to point to the last interception. I whether you run or pass, right? The decision was to pass. The concept of the play was open.
Yeah.
Okay. It was not executed at all. No, or at least to the magnitude that it should have. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So whether somebody stopped or whether you threw to where you was thinking, it just wasn't executed that last 15, 20% or whatever you call it. That's why I say everything has to be 4th and 1. So 4th and 1 just isn't when you're practicing, right?
Yeah.
4th and 1 is Nick's running the rep. It might be you. That's why it's called a mental rep. That means every single play is 4th and 1, regardless if you are actively running those plays or whether you're in every single time a play is run. You have to be tuned into the game. That's why it makes football so hard, because they, heck, look at Chuba Purdy. He's 3rd on the depth chart.
Yeah.
He could he could always tell you, I'm always prepared to play. Next thing you know, starter gets hurt. Second guy struggles a little bit. Dude, you're up. You go from the number 1 signal caller or signaler in the game, calling the plays, to you're in the game. Late in the game. Late in the season. So it's very, very unique situation, and you just got to make sure you're prepared for it and be able to do it. And Nebraska had a chance to pull it off and just wasn't able to make those small little plays or those small little details that are the big difference between being 5-5 and 6-4, 7-3, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, Bill Parcells says, look, you've earned your record. Turnover margin has probably played a huge factor into what Nebraska is right now. Lucky enough, they've been able to get 5 victories with this amount of turnovers. I don't think normally this turnover margin would have 5 victories. And so now that's not glossing over what we just saw or witnessed out there on the football field. It's being more realistic, that showing you how important turnover margin, holding on to the ball, taking care of the ball, situational football is very, very, important, regardless of where you are in your tenure as a player or where the football program is. It doesn't matter if you think Georgia with a minus 27 turn, they wouldn't be 9-0. And they're one of the most talented teams out there. Michigan neither. They wouldn't be 9-0 with this type of turnover margin. So you got to find a way to rectify that. And then there's probably 4 or 5 layers that you have to think about going into that.
We got a couple minutes left before we take a break for the 3:00 hour. Let's go back to the text line. Somebody says, can't put this loss on not tackling. Clearly the quarterback play is the focus on this loss. The defense kept us in the game. Now, I understand where they're coming from. I think also part of it is you can't give up consistently 3rd down and 15, the 3rd and 13s, right? Maryland in this game, Nebraska, give credit to the Huskers, had just 1 penalty, and it came in a crucial spot on the last drive on that Tommy Hill pass interference. But other than that, Maryland with 10 penalties, 92 yards and penalty yardage today. That's one of those where you sit there and say Maryland had helped you out quite a few times. Now, part of it was the crowd was electric for a lot of it. They give the crowd credit. That was not an easy game to necessarily sit through, especially when Nebraska was on offense. And Nebraska's defense did play well. And as Jay and I have talked about, you hope that with 13 points allowed, you feel like your offense could do enough to just score 2 touchdowns. But ultimately enough, like Nebraska gave up 3rd and 15s a couple of times. They gave up 18 yards on a nice little dump off, but it was a missed tackle. Thankfully, there was a play where Tagovailoa dumped it off to number 4 still for Maryland, and he ran it right past MJ Sherman and another defender up the sideline. But thankfully, it was called back because of a holding penalty. And so, like, yes, the missed tackling was not great, and yes, Maryland bailed you out, and yes, the quarterback play. I think it's a combination, Jay, of a lot of things Nebraska didn't do well enough to win.
Yeah, I mean, the tackling, obviously, in space, what they wanted to do, obviously, that was a theme that they came in. Especially on the longer downs, there's too much probably space in the coverage, right? Multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're looking at their 3rd down, just on 3rd downs, Maryland was 6 of 12.
Yeah.
I mean, Nebraska, I don't think had gotten a 3rd down until maybe Chuba Purdy came in the game. They were 2 of 9 overall. So, and then it just, that tells a lot in the game, right? 50% on 3rd down, it's hard. A lot of those, I think, are self-inflicted because of the longer distance whether by Maryland shooting himself in the foot, getting behind the chains on 3rd down, whether it's a legal procedure penalty or holding penalty, 3rd and like 8 or 7 and 3rd and 7 plus.
Mm-hmm.
They were killing us in the first half with it. And those are huge plays in the game that don't get talked about on the text line or on the phone lines or in people's cars because those aren't the ones that are fashionable, right? Yeah. But those plays are huge because they're momentum plays. Those are plays generally like where they were like on Maryland side or close to the 50-yard line.
Field position comes in. So big.
Field position comes into it. It allows the offense to at least get the ball back in a better, more advantageous position on the field to score. It allows you to be more aggressive. It allows the momentum to stay on your side of the field. You just got to think the crowd gets up. You get there, you miss a tackle, the crowd sits down, you're taking a little bit of air out of the stadium. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that the defense can do better to help us win, but obviously the offense as well. You could be pretty somewhat satisfied with the way the offensive line played. There's other guys there's other guys out there that need to block better.
Let's take one more phone call before we take a break. Paul's been waiting. Paul, appreciate you waiting, man. What's on your mind?
No problem, guys. Thank you. Thanks for the show, by the way. It's good therapeutic after a game like this. It helps out a lot. I just got, I guess, really a comment and then a question. We need to give Tony White a raise right now. I know this game wasn't the best defensive game we've had, but what he's done with that defense to what they were last year, to what they are this year in a new scheme, to me seems like it doesn't get talked about enough. The defense has been remarkable. And I feel like a lot of the times when the defense lets our team down, it's because the offense has had 4 turnovers, and the defense is out there trying to save us all the time. My real question is, I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here, but does Saturday need to make some adjustments? He's still trying to run his offense, and we don't have those guys. I don't know if that would help or not, but he could be a heck of a coordinator. I don't know, but that's a question I've been asking. I'm curious to hear an answer on. Does he need to do a little something more different to kind of play to their strengths. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Paul.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's like a hodgepodge trying to figure it out. So I think he's done a decent job of trying to just play to whatever he's dealt with. Right? Your top 2 running backs are out. Who knows how many receivers are out? And you're trying, and yet you don't have a quarterback that's nowhere clear or nowhere close to Spencer Rattler. And you got to be able to play pitch and catch. And so, sure, you can argue about some of the play calling or series, right? You could do that from the very first game, and that's every coordinator across the nation, right? But then also you got to think of the execution, whereas like there's guys running wide open, not hitting them. So I mean, it's a one question with 2 different answers, and there isn't any right answers because as much as we talk about it's a 1 week season, it's a 1 week game plan for Marcus Satterfield as well, trying to figure out a game plan that's going to get these guys in position to win. And look, man, you got to give them credit. They emptied the chamber, man. When you go on the 3rd-team quarterback, you're leaving no stone unturned in a tight game. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm sure they're racking their brains and probably won't sleep much the next week or so. But they got to really flush this thing out of their system and try to get even a bigger head start on going up to Wisconsin. So with that being said, the first hour and a half, man, that went by quick. First hour and a half is down. We got 1 more hour of the Jay Foreman after game show. We're going to take a quick break, then we'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln will have you scoring big on savings with up to $3,000 off CF Moto side-by-sides and ATVs. Whether you're looking for a work-tough U-Force or a performance-ready Z-Force, CF Moto has a machine made for you all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. And don't miss their Black Saturday sales event on November 25th with doorbusters and specials throughout the store. Visit their website, elwaypslincoln.com, for more details. Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619. It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
What do Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tiger Woods, and LeBron James have in common? They're all among the best athletes in their sports of all time. And they all do Pilates. Yep, Pilates is not just for women. It helps everyone to bring the muscles of the body into balance and help the mobility and strength in spine and joints. Pilates can help your golf game and anything else you do for fun. Do Pilates, do life. Check out Club Pilates in Lincoln today at 84th and Holdridge. Online at clubpilates.com/Lincoln or at 531-500-1456.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
This is Chris Elgert, loan originator at Lincoln Federal. With over 20 years in the industry, I have found it's extremely gratifying to solve my customers' home financing needs and then show them the options and strategies available for them to fulfill their goals. But my biggest reward comes when I watch my valued customers experience the American dream of home ownership and move into their new home. Talk with me about your home loan at Lincoln Federal and Go Big Red. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Personal banking like you remember.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The first one, as you can probably tell, is pretty animated. We ran a double move, and I felt like we ran a slant and go, and I thought it should have been pass interference. I thought he got grabbed, and I was pretty animated. The quarterback sees the guy come running out of it. The second one, that's a quarters beater. It was man. The ball has, that play has to be checked. It wasn't checked, and then Jalen ran right by the safety. So I think anytime you get to your second and third quarterback, obviously they're not getting the same reps, and so the fumble obviously is a problem. You can't have that happen. So I think anytime what's happening across multiple players, you have to, as a coaching staff, you have to sit there and say, well, we're obviously not getting it done. And, last thing I want to do is get up here and blame players. There's certain things that have to happen, which is okay to say that, but it falls on my head to get it done. And you saw the impact of us taking the ball away a few times. And, it's just, it's really, as I said to the guys, it's just a shame. It overshadows all the other good things that they're doing. When you have 4 turnovers and you lose 13-10, I mean, that's pretty hard to do. And so it means that we're, being physical and running the football and doing some other decent things. But, the passing game really is just not where it needs to be for us.
So there is Matt Rule explaining the 5 turnovers for the Huskers today.
Yeah, I mean it's it's just it's just tough, man. I mean, like I said, I mean, we talked about it before the game. You can't turn over the ball at that rate. And, when you look at it, just 4 turnovers, and I mean, you're starting quarterback with 1 of 5, 0 yards, 1 pick. Trouble was 1 of 3, 24 yards, a pick. It's questionable if that last one was it misread or miscommunication or whatever. Jeff Sims probably had the best day when you think 8 of 13, 62 yards. Well, not the best day. He had 2 picks, right? So
yeah,
it's tough sledding right now, and they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's tough going right now for them. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's and Matt Rule's not lying to you. They've done some positive things. They're able to answer the bell defensively against an offense that normally, they're going to move the ball. I mean, let's face it. Maryland's been able to move the ball and do some good things offensively for years now, right? And so then when you think about it, the defense keeps you in, gets you a couple turnovers, and you're just not able to do it. You're just not able to get over the hump and make the plays that you need to do to win. Maryland had 3 turnovers. They're probably thinking their turnovers are too high.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you force 3 turnovers, I mean, even if the turnovers were 3-3, you're thinking like, okay, you're walking away with a victory. I think they're just the rate that they're happening and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how much more simple they can really make it as far as what they're doing on the quarterbacks. I mean, just gotta kind of, and what people don't understand, it's hard to call plays on the edge of your seat, like anticipating something bad's going to happen. But then you have to, because you're trying to protect the other parts and the other players on the team. And, Matt's right, where, look, they're not getting a lot of reps. That's where the mental reps come in. That's where you want to be able to go above and beyond. Maybe that's where you want to really, curtail it to, however they're playing. I mean, they went out, walked the ball all the way down the field, and just didn't able to push through. I mean, it's definitely frustrating because they've done some good things. I mean, this is probably the offensive lines. When I look at it, their best game as far as what they were able to do, getting on people and running the ball from a conventional standpoint.
Yeah.
Those 5 guys did their thing. You need to tighten up some things on the outside, but they did some things. And then, defensively was good enough to win, but, let's get to the point to where the defense plays is the reason we won.
Yeah.
Playing good enough to win is what we've done around here for a while, right? Now, that is a winning. I would say it's a winning performance just on the simple fact that you have 7 pass defense, 8 tackles for losses, 3 turnovers, and give up 13 points. I'd be a knucklehead to sit up here and say that, you win 9, 10 games out of there. It's very, I don't know what, I mean, I would say disheartening or whatever.
It's
not
deflating.
That. It is deflating. It's very, you're frustrated, right? So as much as your frustration, I want you to be frustrated. You should be frustrated. Also the other side of the thing is you should be to the point that where you want to do something about it, and the time is running out.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 games left. There's this isn't the second week of training.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask is and once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, Starter Heyman text line. You guys can call in, text in, whatever. We'll get to the text messages. There's a lot of them that we got to kind of sift through. But I mean, think about these last 2 weeks, Jay. You go undefeated in October for the first time in 22 years, right? You get 1 game away, 1 win away from a bowl game going into November. You go on the road, you face a Michigan State team that struggled, little unstable, winless at the time in the conference, interim head coach, you can go down the list of things, backup quarterback, right? You put together a somewhat of a disappointing performance, for similar reasons that we saw today, turnovers, struggles on offense, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you feel like maybe you left some out there that you could have won it, right? So now you bounce back with a home game against the Maryland team that's once again struggling. They started the season 5-0, yes, but prior to today, they lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Right? And they were trying to get off the schneid. And once again here at the end of the game, you feel like Nebraska let it go, let it slip away.
Yeah,
so now you have 2 games left, and to where 2 weeks ago, Nebraska and Nebraska fans felt like, you know what? The goal that we set at the start of the year is somewhat in reach, and it still is.
Yeah.
But now time is running out. So what's that mentality?
Getting a little
tight.
it's
getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. You ain't sitting down. Your sphincter muscle getting it. Yeah. I mean, what's the mentality is how bad it can't be how bad does Nick want it?
Yeah.
It can't be how bad does Jay want it? And the coaches can't want it more than the players. That's number one. This one here is Matt Rule said that it's on the coaches, it's on the multitude. Is everybody raised their hand, took time into this result. We have got to want it. Yep. We have got to want it. And the thing is when you want it, you got to get after it, and you got to do what you got to do, and you got to really take a real good look at every single stat, every single series, every single play. You got to evaluate it. What's positive, what's not, and you got to start. I know there's 2 weeks left. You got to start challenging guys. Like, you cannot. I'm gonna tell you this: it's like if you are that, like, there's some guys out there, like, I would say, that need to take a little bit more pride in blocking.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I agree. Just flat out, because I'm going to say this: them 5 guys that are blocking. It didn't look. It was not. It looks. It's not the pipeline. It's not the. They were blocking today. Yeah. They were blocking last week. Right. We got to start blocking, man. We got to take pride in it.
Let's go back and hear from Matt Rule a little bit, managing the quarterback room, since that's such a big conversation today. Let's hear what Coach Rule had to say.
I think you just take it day by day. You get in there tomorrow and you see sort of where's Heinrich at, physically. Heinrich's gift is that he's a dual threat player, and so if he doesn't have the ability to run and cut and do all those things, then that limits kind of what he can do. Chubba is getting back to being healthy, and so it was good to see him. It's good to see him have an opportunity to go play. So I think we just kind of get out there. We have to get out back tomorrow and just take it day by day. And I hope that when we get to Tuesday, what we don't want to do is be, waffling back and forth. We want to have somebody, get the main reps, have someone else get the second best reps, and kind of go from there. But I would be lying to you if I told you I knew who that was going to be right now.
Nebraska's a little bit of a predicament, Jay. Not necessarily sure what quarterback.
Well, I mean, you can't, because the guy that was started the game, he's hurt.
Yeah.
You threw Jeff Sims in there. He did some good things, but then the 2 picks, obviously. I mean, let's be honest. Heinrich could have 3 of his passes could have been picked off. They just got 1 of them. Yeah. Okay, 1 was called back for penalty, right? And then so nobody's absolved from. And then Chubba had he got to take the stat of interception there. So health is going to be a concern, because you can't expect this. You can't expect. Well, you can't say Heinrich's our quarterback. He can't play.
No.
So you just gotta look. You gotta look this dang thing in the face. Get punched by it every day. Every time you think about, man, I should have done this. As a player, should I have done this? Or should I make this tackle? Blah blah blah. And then you got to figure out who's healthy. The next practice. And then they got to, even if you are healthy and just a little dinged up, you got to finish strong. You know what I mean? The theme, you asked about this, the theme in this team is we have to finish. Stop looking at the finish line. That's how you got here.
Yeah.
That's how you just let yourself down twice. Thinking about the end game and you ain't dealt with the present.
Yeah.
Refocus and re-energize. Everything has to be focused on this next week. At night, up at Camp Randall. A lot to be heard. We got some callers, and we got Jared. Is it Jared?
Yeah, let's go to Jared first on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Jared, appreciate you holding, my man. What's on your mind?
Oh, I just wanted to bring up, Satterfield has been catching a lot of heat all season long for his play calling, but one thing that I haven't heard much talked about is the fact that he is the quarterback coach as well. And I mean, we're just seeing the same thing out of all three of them, and you got Tony White and the defensive coaches. We're getting a lot of these younger guys going. I mean, in one off season has them playing at a really high level. And I just see the same mistakes out of all three quarterbacks that Satterfield's coaching. They're all having problems with the decision making, and they're all having turnover problems, and at times look real skittish. And I just, I just don't really know what he's doing. If he's too focused on play calling, if we need an actual QB's coach, but he just is just a part of his job that nobody's really talking about, but it seems to be a pretty glaring issue.
Oh, appreciate it, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, it is. There's not, there's some things going on. I think they can, I think that what they're going to try to do, or at least I guess, I'm assuming they're going to try to do is just probably coach around it, and try to like coach them up to where they don't make these catastrophic mistakes. Now, granted, you've been trying to do that all season. Some of it has been by chance, right? And what I mean by that is if you take at one point in time in the season, you drop back and there's three guys in your face, yes, you could probably eat the sack, but then you're trying to get the ball to somebody, you're not able to get accuracy on it, and then so forth and so on. You might hit a guy in the hands and there's a pick. So I think just peeling back this smelly onion and getting back to the point to where you're, really doing some things to where it's in a positive manner.
Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Ryan in Delaware on the line. Ryan in Delaware, appreciate you hanging on. What's on your mind?
Yeah, guys, thanks for taking my call. This is going to be real quick. I am normally not one for advocating for firing people, but I don't know how you look at this game and think it's on anyone other than Satterfield. He proved today that he's not willing to do what it takes in. It's not his way. And again, I'm not normally one for firing people, but I don't know how you look at that game today if you're Matt Rule and decide, yeah, he's what's best for our program going forward. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Ryan in Delaware. How about that? Ryan in Delaware, all the way in Delaware.
Yeah, look, we got listeners nationwide. No, I'm not with the firing the coach. We're 10 games into the first year of a program where they're trying to revamp things. I'm sure there's things that he'd like to do better. I'm sure there's execution that he'd like to be better. There's execution that I'd like to see better. I know he coaches them on the fundamentals of quarterback. I know he's doing the things that, helping them play quarterback. Now they just got to do it. Now it is a 2-part deal, right? It's just right now it is a struggle to stay out of your own way. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Honestly. Just kind of just getting out of your own way, and that's where they're at right now. And you ask who's going to play, whoever shows and exemplifies getting out of your own way in this week in practice or whatever the situation is, probably is who you're going to see run out there first.
Let's go back to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We got Kevin on the line. Kevin, what's on your mind today?
Hey guys, I just got a question for you. What's Rule going to do to breathe some life back into this team? That team was finding a way to win ugly. Now we're back to our ways of finding a way to lose every game. I'll hang up and listen, guys. Thanks.
Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. You shouldn't have to. Like at some point, like this has to go on the players. Like it's the conversation we had last week where it's you shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have the conversation of they didn't bring the energy. Like that's how I feel like that conversation is. You shouldn't have, like, you should wake up ready to go. Am I out of bounds by saying that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just an individual choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I think sometimes, and I'm sure the kids are different that, where they are, like, I guess mercury, right? They got to get warmed up to it. But I think when you're playing in games in November, you got to wake up ready to go.
especially
been
meaningful
motivated.
games. They're like,
Yeah,
this is not a 2-6 football team.
Right. Yeah, and you're not limping to the line and just waiting for the season to get over. This is you're able to extend your season, go to a bowl game, and go to a bowl game and do something as a foundation piece, not only in the Matt Rule era, but where this program is going to go, hopefully in the future. I always say there's a difference, and I'll say this: there's a lot of people that are capable. Right. This team is fully capable of being 7-3 right now, 6-4. We could argue 8-2, right?
Yeah.
Fully capable of being that record right now. But are you willing to do what it takes to do that? And part of being that way is showing up ready to go. Every rep counts. Every detail counts. Being a good teammate, being on time, being accountable, holding each other accountable, making plays for another player when they, say Nick, or, gets hook blocked. I got to be there for you. Right. It's a lot of being capable, but you got to be willing to do it, man. And I'm telling you, and in November, it's a totally different ball game. Yeah. Once Halloween, I was saying this earlier, once Halloween hits, the guys and the teams that were dressing up as football players, there's a difference, because after Halloween, them dudes got to show up. Everybody else is playing show and tell before. Look at me, look at my uniform, got my eye black on, little towels and all that stuff. Nick, you be out there with the little rubber bands on, get your guns going.
I'd have about 4 of them.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, right.
Look at the forearm muscles.
Right. So you playing, you dressing up football player. I'm out here playing.
Yeah.
And so, look, that's the hard thing about it, man. It sucks right now.
Okay, so on the YouTube video stream, Bruce says, I call and they put on hold and then hung up. Bruce, we might have had just a connection call drop. So call him back, Bruce. We'll make sure we get you on the line. And anybody else that wants to call in and has some thoughts on Nebraska's 13-10 loss to the Turtles, the Maryland Terrapins, earlier today at Memorial Stadium. Jay, we got about 20 minutes left in the show. It's gone by quick. This is the quickest one.
How long do we go to?
3:45.
Oh, 3:45. Yeah,
we got about 20 minutes left in the show.
Yeah,
one more segment to get the calls in before
we're gonna
take the other
We're
guys.
gonna take a quick break. Come back. We're gonna put a bow on this bad boy. And Bruce, we're waiting for you. Bruce, if you're listening, Bruce, we're waiting for you, my man. We're Jay Foreman After Game Show. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln will have you scoring big on savings with up to $3,000 off CF Moto side-by-sides and ATVs. Whether you're looking for a work-tough U-Force or a performance-ready Z-Force, CF Moto has a machine made for you all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. And don't miss their Black Saturday sales event on November 25th with doorbusters and specials throughout the store. Visit their website, elwaypslincoln.com, for more details.
Winter is fast approaching. Have you winterized your sprinklers yet? If not, get it scheduled as soon as possible with Penner Sprinkler and Lawn before damage occurs that could turn an unfortunate winter into a rough spring ahead for your system. Plus, they are already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215. That's 402-413-1215. Penner Sprinkler and Lawn.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
What do Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tiger Woods, and LeBron James have in common? They're all among the best athletes in their sports of all time. And they all do Pilates. Yep, Pilates is not just for women. It helps everyone to bring the muscles of the body into balance and help the mobility and strength in spine and joints. Pilates can help your golf game and anything else you do for fun. Do Pilates, do life. Check out Club Pilates in Lincoln today at 84th and Holdridge. Online at clubpilates.com/Lincoln or at 531-500-1456.
Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. Personal banking like you remember.
Home. It's more than a place, it's a feeling. This is Eric Bertrand with Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. If you're looking for a place to call home, call me. Let's review your financing options and get you into the home of your dreams. Proudly serving Husker fans.
Personal banking like you remember.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Find the ultimate sports bar experience at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill. Big definitely describes the Big Ten House Nachos, topped with pulled pork, barbecue sauce, and much more. Enjoy char-buffed chicken wings, coated in flavorful sauce, delicious pizza, and half-pound burgers made to cure your cravings. The bar features 16 different taps, including local Nebraska brews. There's a good wine selection and the signature Big Ten teenie served with champagne. Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill. Visit big10lnk.com.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We are back. Last 11 minutes, Jay Foreman post-game show. We got
Luke.
We got Luke Duke.
Luke, what's on your mind, my man? Luke, are you there? Bruce, are you
Hello?
there? Hello, are you there?
Yeah, it's Bruce.
Bruce, all right, sounds good, man. What's up?
Hey, Nick. Hey, Jay. I want to thank you guys for always being here. For all of Nebraska. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys do amazing work. But I basically just got one question. Why are we not kicking points early in the game like we were? I know Jay said something earlier. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but I always thought, okay, if you're down there, I get it, you want a touchdown, but why wouldn't you just kick the field goal? Your defense is playing, out of sight. And my second question is to you, Jay. If Casey Thompson would have stuck around, do you think he would have done good in Satterfield's offense? And I'll take it off here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, what was he talking about? The interception, the last interception?
Just there was a point earlier in the game, I believe, where they went for it on fourth down. Yeah, Nebraska turned it over with after a 12-play, 58-yard drive that took up 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Well, I would also say this: the play call off of that was not very smart. Also, quarterback had a couple wide receivers open. So it was just it was an ugly play. It was a read option where I believe Jeff Sims was in at this time.
Yeah, I remember that play.
He kept it, tried to bounce it outside. Thomas Fedoni or Borkacher, whichever one of those, was kind of open on an underneath crossing route, and he just kind of took the sack. But yeah, why not kick the field goal there?
What they were kicking in the wind.
Nebraska was going into the wind at that point. Yep.
I guess you could think about that, but I'm assuming that's why they went for it. It was a 4th and 2. I remember that play. Yep. It was kind of discombobulated after a timeout. I can see it both ways. Try to kick it or go for it. Want to keep the momentum. I think you went for it on 4th before, so you kind of, once you do it once, you got to do it twice. Yep. And then down there on the red zone. I keep saying this. I'm not sure if people are like listening or not. Like, I understand, like, yeah, you probably should have ran it, right? But the play was called. So I'm looking at the play. It's my job to evaluate the play, the way it was ran, all that stuff. I don't need to worry about what didn't happen, right? Because you very easily could have, the way we've been this year, ran it and dropped the ball, right? Mm-hmm. The execution of the pass play was not up to the utmost. Somebody either didn't finish a route or didn't know where he was going to be. That's all there is to it. The concept of the play was right. It was not a very high, in my opinion, a high-risk play in the red zone. And somebody asked earlier about our red zone troubles. Our red zone troubles are from lack of experience. And then you got to have great decision-making. You got to be able to line up and pound the ball, on basic plays. So those are, and then you got to have, plays and options off of that. And that's really the red zone offense comes off. You're not going to, design a whole bunch of plays where people ain't seen it, because they're right down there. Everything gets tighter. You got to make quicker decisions. You got to be more efficient. You got to be more efficient with, in and out of your breaks, both offensively and defensively. You got to be able to communicate, and everything happens in the red zone about 3 steps faster.
Yeah. Matt Rule said, I'm trying to find the specific quote. Matt Rule said something along the lines of, with the play call at the end of the game there, and also earlier in the game on the one that Bruce was asking about, he goes, quote, we were trying to win the game. We're trying to win the game. Right. And I think you look at Nebraska's offense, and the number one, margin for error is so slim. And Jay, everything that we're talking about, you can kind of see both sides, as you've discussed, right, and explained. I look at it as, one side is, you can take the points and somewhat settle for a field goal, I think. But you also talked about how you went for it on 4th already initially one time. You kind of need to do it again, especially on 4th and 2.
Yeah, sometimes
you're in your home stadium. You're trying to keep the momentum on your side. I think also towards the end of the game, it's just it's one of those things where Nebraska, they don't get very many opportunities inside the 10-yard line.
Right.
Like they don't have an explosive enough of an offense to really score on big chunk plays. Besides just a couple of times, like the last chunk play that I can remember where they scored a touchdown on was the one to Jalen Lloyd back in the Purdue or Northwestern game. off the play action on a nice ball from Heinrich Harburg. And like since then, they haven't had a very, a deep pass, a deep ball. Like they tried to get it to Alex Bullock earlier today, didn't work. And so I think when you get down into the red zone, like Nebraska just doesn't have a whole lot of opportunities. But then also they've shown time and time again that their margin for error is so slim. So I can understand, like, hey, field goals and points for Nebraska comes at a premium.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, I mean, you can skin the cat any way you want. At the end of the day, the execution wasn't there. I mean, you could run it and say, okay, you're conservative, and then you're leaning on your defensive again with more momentum because you didn't turn the ball over, or you could actually execute the play and actually score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So it's either way. Either way, the result would have been we've been in overtime. Then what? You just happy getting to overtime and losing? Mm-hmm. I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, it's hard when you just can't do the basics in a high pressure situation. It's not really that pressure because it's not a pass that you have to fit in between three defenders. The dude is wide open, and the guy, you got to continue most likely to run the route. I mean, that's probably the bigger question. Like, what do you need? What needed to happen for that play call to work?
We got asked earlier, what is the message to the team from Matt Rule? What does he need to do to get his guys ready? This is a pretty lengthy clip, so I'm going to try to see if we can stop it at some point. But let's just hear what Matt Rule said post game before we get Jay's final thoughts here.
Yeah, I think right now, I think when you win and you lose, it's really important to talk about the moment that you're in. I think for me, it's important to remind them, that how much I respect them and care about them, and how I know some guys are really hurting, and some guys I'm sure feel like, man, I let the guys down, or if I hadn't done this. But it's the man in the arena, the guy that has the guts to go out there, that puts himself out there. So I just encourage them to make sure they understand that at the University of Nebraska, I expect us to finish the game on offense, but also expect us to finish the game on defense. And this shouldn't be anything but a team. And that when I think about that game, I think about what I could have done differently, not, oh, you should have done this. So I encourage the team to do that. I encourage the team to come back next week ready to go. This is, as I said, the things that we talk about, not beating ourselves, not having penalties, winning the turnover battle, running the ball and stopping the run, affecting the quarterback, fourth quarter shutouts, middle eight, all the things that we talk about are really what winning and losing is about.
Let's just stop it there.
Yeah, I mean, the message should be that we got to finish. Period. We got to finish every meeting. We got to finish every meal, every weight session, every rep in practice like it's a game. That's how we're going to get over the hump. We're doing some good things, yes, but we're doing some really bad things as well. So the attention to detail needs to be finished. That means when if a coach is telling you something as the meeting's getting over, you're giving it 100% attention. Nobody's arrived, and nobody on that team should be thinking about anything else besides beating Wisconsin. If you think that you had a little good season, half a good season here playing Nebraska, and all of a sudden you're going to be on the first day of the drive or something, man, you're sadly mistaken, man. And everybody's watching. These are the games that mean the most. Who can play, not only play and make plays in this time of the year and not just survive, is what Matt Rule's learning a lot about his team. He's learning about a lot of the fabric of this program that was here before.
Jake, great show, a great post game, a lot of interaction. A lot of thoughts on this one. We got about 30 seconds left. Just kind of wrap it up.
Hey, man, it's on to frustration is going to last until tomorrow. And then after that, you got to go on to Wisconsin because, they're in a battle right now and you got to get a leg up on them. So hopefully it's a better post game next week.
There we go. All right. Send it away.
All right, man. That's it for the Jay Foreman post game show. We're going to turn it over to at least Austin and Bach and maybe young Ben. Jay Foreman, my main man, Nick. We'll holler at you next week.
So what's the scenario? Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club, or space club, and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margarita like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln will have you scoring big on savings with up to $3,000 off CF Moto side-by-sides and ATVs. Whether you're looking for a work-tough U-Force or a performance-ready Z-Force, CF Moto has a machine made for you all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. And don't miss their Black Saturday sales event on November 25th with doorbusters and specials throughout the store. Visit their website, elwaypslincoln.com for more details.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Winter is fast approaching. Have you winterized your sprinklers yet? If not, get it scheduled as soon as possible with Penner Sprinkler and Lawn before damage occurs that could turn an unfortunate winter into a rough spring ahead for your system. Plus, they are already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215. That's 402-413-1215. Penner Sprinkler and Lawn.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
So I just got the State Farm personal price plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is Chris Elgert, loan originator at Lincoln Federal. With over 20 years in the industry, I have found it's extremely gratifying to solve my customers' home financing needs and then show them the options and strategies available for them to fulfill their goals. But my biggest reward comes when I watch my valued customers experience the American dream of home ownership and move into their new home. Talk with me about your home loan at Lincoln Federal and Go Big Red. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Personal banking like you remember.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
13-10, Maryland beats Nebraska. It sucks. Again, it's painful. Again, it's more of the same again for Nebraska. You heard from Jay and Nick. I'm Austin. Box next to me, Ben's running the board. We'll talk about it here. I don't know if I did this in pregame or not, but met a very wonderful young lady named Piper this morning. It's her 6th birthday today. She's on her way to the stadium for her first game, and I hope she enjoyed the atmosphere, enjoyed the environment, because the result is not what little Piper deserved. So
shout
it's
out
too bad.
to Nebraska fans, though. They were rocking there at times. And, I was working with the Maryland broadcast booth today in the radio booth, and they were pretty well impressed. Again, like many are, that you come into a game, both teams are 5-4, not the expectation that you want at Nebraska, I suppose, in the long run. But for that place to be rocking, yeah, the sellout number, again, we could have that conversation all off season. We always do about, how many empty seats there were, the student section leaving out early and all that. But still, I think a pretty good, as far as the good notes, a good show by Nebraska fans for showing up for this game again.
You could feel a little bit more energy through the broadcast, I think, than normal. Not that Nebraska was always playing great, but to me, there was a lot more juice in the stadium that just felt like you could hear the Husker power, the Go Big Red chants. You could feel the crowd's excitement when Chuba Purdy's leading the team down the field and Jeff Sims is completing passes. The energy was palpable, and that's what I think makes this even more disappointing, Bach, is that Nebraska had a chance to get win number 6, had every opportunity in the world to drive down the field, to flip field position. They didn't do it. To put a ball in the end zone, to put 3 points on the board, they didn't do it. The lesson again from today, of which there are many, but the overall lesson is that Nebraska is still just not good enough. Across the board, Nebraska still is just not where it needs to be. In moments, they look capable. In moments, it looks like a real football team. But at the end of the day, in crunch time, when you look at the bottom line, Nebraska just isn't enough, doesn't have enough, or has it and just loses it.
Well, and you got to question the play calling, obviously, down there in the red zone to throw the ball. I think part of the learning process for this, and I thought that we learned this, or you would learn this with the Minnesota game, which finished 13-10, just like today's did, is sometimes in these games, especially with your defense, this pace of the game was exactly what Nebraska needed to win the game. Maryland averages 30 points per game. If they were going to get to 30, they were going to win probably by 2 possessions. We know the struggle that Nebraska has. Yet, and they decided in the red zone in the first half when it was nothing to nothing. I mean, you could have taken the lead. Obviously you went touch, but this as it came down to it sometimes are field goal games, not necessarily touchdown games.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that against Minnesota. They did the same thing today. Where they went for it, it didn't get it, and then all of a sudden Maryland scores 2 plays later. It goes up 7-0. There's that. Then obviously the big one that everybody's talking about, going to talk about all week, is the decision to pass. Basically, when all you need to do is run the clock out and kick a field goal in the end, or at the very least, maybe you would have been able to run the clock out, but take the lead with just a few ticks left for Maryland to do anything with. That play call is frustrating. I know Matt Rule says they're going for the win, but again, it's part of the idea is knowing your team, knowing that every time that you drop back to pass with any of these three guys, the whole stadium's holding their breath. It's not whether you drew it up and they were doing man coverage and it was open. Okay, this, that, the other thing. How confident are you to execute that, and how much are you going to put that on the line when the wind is staring you in the face? All you have to do is kick a field goal there in that situation. So frustrating output. For what it's worth, I mean, Maryland probably just as frustrated. They ended up getting the win. We talked about this last week with Nebraska and Michigan State, where it's like, okay, kind of looks similar to what Nebraska's done in the past, and they come up on the losing side. Similar thing today, different quarterbacks, so a different little feel to it. And 5 turnovers, I got to be a season high, so it's a little worse than usual. But just a frustrating day with opportunity to win there. And that's why I think Husker Nation is pretty fired up after this one.
You mentioned the play calling, and that has been on people's minds. We've gotten a lot of calls already on postgame about the play calling. Let's take a break and let's get into that. Of course, the malign decision will be the one to throw down in the red zone, but I think there are plenty of other opportunities that Nebraska missed to run the ball and got itself out of rhythm to some degree with decisions to pass instead of run with a run game that was looking somewhat successful. We're just off and rolling here after the Jay Foreman postgame show. I'm Austin Norman. He's Jake Bachov, and we've got Ben on the board. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep breaking down Nebraska's 13-10 loss to Maryland in just a moment.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
This is Rick Heyman, president of Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I'm inviting you to stop by any of our 3 great locations to see why we have been voted best of for decades. We're a 4-generation jewelry company that refuses to compromise on quality or service. If you're in the market for anything for anyone special, nothing, and I mean nothing, says it better than Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Sartor Heyman Jewelers since 1905 in Lincoln and Grand Island.
But you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Celebrate Thanksgiving this year with Venue Restaurant and Lounge and Venue at Home with our Thanksgiving to-go meal packages. Our packages include sliced turkey breasts and roasted gravy, herb stuffing, Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, a harvest salad, and more, with add-on options to upgrade your feast, including smoked ham, prime rib, sides, appetizers, and desserts. You choose delivery right to your home or pick up at our Venue at Home storefront. Order today at holidaysbyvenue.net. That's holidaysbyvenue.net.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club, or space club, and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over. Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
So I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the post-game show. Austin Norman and Jake Bachhoven with you. Jay and Nick dipped. Long day for them. They are out, so Bach and I will carry you through the next hour and a half or two here of post-game coverage. Once again, it's Maryland 13 and Nebraska 10. A lot of people jumping on play calling, Bach, and I'm not going to lie, I'm one of them. I'm right there. For the day, Nebraska runs 40 times for 183 yards, 4.6 yards per carry. Leading rushers, Emmett Johnson, 17 carries for 84 yards, looking more and more comfortable by the game. Was really impressed with him. Jeff Sims, 10 carries for 33 yards. Chuba Purdy, 3 for 33. Nebraska was relatively effective in the run game. Like I said, 183 yards. Nebraska could have had 225 rushing yards and been even more in control of this game. But as soon as it seemed like Nebraska was finding some rhythm and got something going in the run game, it seemed like there's a 1st and 10 pass, or it's 2nd and 6. You know, you get a few yards, then you pass it and you're behind the sticks. Why not run for another 3 or 4? And this is where the easy thing to do is jump on Marcus Satterfield, is jump on play calling, play armchair coordinator and armchair quarterback. I want to avoid doing that as much as we can, but it's more than fair to question the decision making. Clearly, Nebraska had an advantage of some sort in the run game, and it proved it early. You know, it didn't take till the 4th quarter for Nebraska to gash Maryland on runs of 7 or more yards, get a couple first downs on it. Then at the end of the game, you're able to reintroduce the quarterback wrinkle with Jeff Sims keeping a couple. With Chuba Purdy, I don't know if it was a design on his longest run, but it worked. Had a couple nice, tough scrambles as well. So you're able to reintroduce that element. But from this vantage point, it just seemed like there were some really questionable decisions because Matt Rule has said it time and time again. This offense isn't good enough to get in its own way. They'll get some momentum going. They'll get rolling. They'll find a sequence that works, and then they'll go away from it. And I've said this before this year that, not being a play caller, it's an art and a science, right? The art of it is not being predictable, but sticking to what works. The science of it is, here's our advantage. Let's manipulate the crap out of it. I don't think Nebraska Nebraska's predictable at sometimes, but not often enough to go away from the run game that was working today. Emmett Johnson was rolling. He deserved more carries than the 17 that he got. Maryland maybe caught on late, but in the first or second quarter, Emmett Johnson was getting, 5-6 yards a pop. It looked really good in the run game. The offensive line looked confident. Pass protection wasn't perfect, but the run blocking, I thought for the most part, was really good today, at least better than it has been. So I don't think Nebraska hammered the strength of its run game nearly enough early on, which leads to the 1st and goal where you decide to throw it down in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I and everybody can kind of see the game a little bit differently. I don't know if Nebraska had much of an edge in the ground game. I mean, they were, midway through the fourth quarter, they kind of got to their average, which was 185, and they finished about at the same. So finished with 183 yards. So I thought that they were going to be able to get to 200 today. They could have stuck to it a little bit more, but again, total carries 40 and pass attempts 21. So it was twice the amount of times that they were throwing the ball. It feels like they're throwing the ball too much when they're throwing 21 times because they're throwing to the other team 4 those times. We had in 5 if you count one that was taken away by a holding that wasn't related to the actual interception. So I mean, Emmett Johnson kind of got going there, especially in the fourth quarter. I think that made his numbers look a little bit better. That was kind of on that long 90-yard drive, whatever it was, that the final drive that Chubba Purdy led him on. But they really only had 2 sustainable drives. In other words, it wasn't working all that well. And on that other drive that Jeff Sims led, they did end up at least running for it on 4th and 2 to try to get it. So again, when you're kind of picking and choosing your spots to complain here. Overall, again, it's tough because I know there's a lot of heat on Satterfield and kind of feeling that maybe he blew the game with that call. And so, I mean, I think that call deserves to be under the microscope, and I don't agree with it. It's going to get torn apart. But overall, I think it's just tough at all to get much out of this offense. You have to remember there's so many guys that got hurt that are out of this offense to begin with. But overall, even with full strength, this isn't a potent offense with playmakers left and right. A few of the passes that were made were dropped, or so I mean, the blame kind of can go around. I don't sit back and just question Satterfield for the entire game. I think I question him more for that final pick call.
But even the final play call, that's one that I'm more okay with than the rest, because Nebraska, despite I think moving the ball pretty well in the run game, hasn't always been able to just line it up and run straight down people's throats. Maryland had maybe started to catch on a little bit. That's why it's the perimeter runs with Chubba Purdy that moved the sticks a couple times. You have to get creative, but not overly creative in the red zone. And there's a balance there. I get it. But that final play call, if that pass was intended for Billy Kemp, it didn't have a chance. There's no way that ball was getting to Billy Kemp, which makes me wonder if that pass wasn't intended for Malachi Coleman, which then makes me wonder, was it an off-target pass? Was it too high? Was it too far in front of him? Or did Malachi Coleman not think the ball was coming to him, so he didn't run his route full speed? I thought he had a chance at that ball. And if he catches it, I think he has an opportunity to use his frame and get into the end zone. I don't want to blame players. I don't say they're not giving effort. Maybe it was a bad throw. Maybe it was a misread. I thought Malachi Coleman had a chance on that ball, and this game might look different.
Well, I think that, again, goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is it might, like, they checked it. They checked to that play. They realized Maryland was in man, and they went to that play. And it doesn't necessarily make it a bad call. Like, if you draw it up with the X's and O's, and maybe you want to show your faith in Malachi Coleman there. But again, what are you talking about? You're talking about Chubba Purdy, who's third string coming into the day. He didn't have any significant snaps going into today. And so you're asking him to make a 90-yard drive throw to a freshman wide receiver. And if not to him, then a banged up wide receiver that was all but out up until last week when he wasn't returning punts, and Billy Kemp. And you're right. I mean, that throw looked like, it's just tough to tell because the pass looked like it was trying to fit it into Billy Kemp from the direction that it was at. But that was so covered, that would be just a terrible play. And so it might have been underneath the Malachi Coleman, which again, if Coleman maybe ran his route or the ball was a little bit more in play, then it was open and they could have scored a touchdown. But there's a difference, especially with this team and the airmail passes that they have. And drawing it up and maybe it's there, it makes sense on paper, and actually expecting them to go through with it. And listen, you're going to have to make those calls. You have the personnel that you have at certain times in the game. So I don't mind that in the second quarter and let's just see if we can, fill this thing out. It's not so much the call that's bad. It's just passing at all in that situation when this game has just been so rocky and back and forth. And they were fortunate that Maryland fumbled at their 3-yard line to even have a chance to have the game-winning field goal opportunity there. So again, it's like you don't have to be aggressive or as aggressive or go for the win as they were putting it in that situation. The best thing to do is take the lead, play conservative. If it's kind of like learning how to play the Big Ten West. That's how Kirk Ferentz wins all these games. And sometimes PJ Fleck and those guys. It's not always about being aggressive. So again, to me, it's not even so much the play call; it's the decision to pass at all, and really be aggressive there, rather than Emmett Johnson was winning really well in that drive, breaking tackles left and right. Purdy doing the same. Again, there's that balance between predictability, but at that point, I don't care how predictable it is because I'm just focused more on a field goal and grinding the clock out and maybe just giving them a chance on a 2-minute drill. Maybe they could go down and score, but they hadn't done that all day against Nebraska, and I would rely on my defense there with the 3-point lead.
Predictable isn't what you like, but if you're good enough at what you do, it's not predictable. It's going to your strengths. Again, Nebraska did it at times, but not being able to say, this is our best play, this is our best player. We know we can get 3 yards on this play every time, 4 yards on this running play every time. There's nothing Maryland can do about it unless a guy makes a, all Big Ten caliber play. Hurts this team. One guy that tried to make that play was Jeff Sims on the fumble, reversing field. This, to me, again, I don't put this all on Jeff Sims. Clearly it's not. I didn't mind the decision to have him throw the ball. He threw some pretty good balls. Some of them looked really nice. The pass to Lloyd was good. Coleman had a drop that was big. But then you get the 2 interceptions, the arm punt, rainbow one. I have no idea what it was he was looking at or what he was throwing.
He was just throwing up for Coleman to make a play, but
even if Coleman was held, that's not a pass I want to see thrown.
No,
it didn't
look
look
good.
That
situation.
No. But this team, you can respect the fight, you can respect the effort, but to your point about just being conservative, next play mentality, take what's available. Jeff Sims is a good athlete, but Maryland had 3 guys on the other side of the field ready for him when he reversed it. That's a guy that's played enough college football to know just take what's available, go down, try to push the pile, use your strength instead of speed, which you're not faster than these other guys. Go down, get to the next play. Again, that's not what lost Nebraska the game, but I think that's interesting because Matt Rule was asked about managing the quarterback situation in postgame. He said, yeah, well, Heinrich Harburg was banged up. It's his ankle. We'll see how he looks through the week. Chuba did a good job on that drive. He's still fighting back from the groin. No mention of Jeff Sims. There was some talk, those first couple drives for Jeff Sims, hey, he might get the starting job back, especially if it's Harburg's ankle and he can't go. But 2 interceptions, one of which I have no idea why that ball was thrown, trying to do too much on the fumble. It negates the good that he did in the passing game. It negates the nice runs that he had. And it's unfortunate. That's a guy that I think played better this game than he had in his previous opportunities. But again, it's overshadowed by trying to do too much and missing in the biggest moments.
Yeah, and that's just where Nebraska's at. You're looking at moving forward, who's going to start at quarterback. And again, Matt Rule said he doesn't really know. They're going to have a guy take the first team snaps and somebody take the second team snaps. But as far as who that is, he doesn't know. That's just kind of the curse of where Nebraska is. And you're looking at Husker reaction all over online. It's again talk about what would Nebraska do with Casey Thompson or what are they going to do this offseason. I mean, it's kind of obvious out there. You do wonder if they did, whether it was keep Casey Thompson or get a quarterback that came in here, took the starting job and played even mediocre. And, that's all he would be looking for here. Where would Nebraska be? Because they've done a good job. I think, the losses are piling up. Nebraska 500 at this point. And people are getting frustrated, but there are good things to see through here. I mean, two straight games, only 1 penalty, really hurt them. But it was that's That's tough to do. I mean, the defense obviously is playing at a great level. So
And we'll get to that.
There are a lot of positives still for this team and still a lot of opportunities here the next couple of games to make a successful season. But the quarterback room is, I mean, that's going to be the story of this year, even in rewind. We're just kind of having to go through it, is that there's not really a great option. Not if you want to pass the ball. And running the ball, you've just had too many turnovers from these two guys. To see Purdy even get the chance out there was a bit surprising, but a bit relieving, because at some point you're just like, I don't think he could be worse. You know what I mean? Like and he came out and put a pretty good drive together. So I'm interested to see what that looks like moving forward. But yeah, Jeff Sims is just. You just don't. I mean, he can have a play or two that impresses you, but I don't like it at 4 or 5 plays in a row, and whether he's passing or running, you just expect a turnover at some point. And I just don't know. Even as your backup, it's just game after game. It's opportunity after opportunity. I thought that maybe that last, that game a couple weeks ago might have been his last opportunity. We got another one now, and you come out the other side with 3 turnovers again. I don't know if you can put him in next week. So if my guess about who's 1 and 2, if Harburg is healthy enough, is that he would probably be the start. But I might see Purdy jump Sims here as the number 2 quarterback this week.
We haven't seen a lot of improvement from Harburg in season. The issues that were the issues when he started are still the issues now. Some of that maybe requires an off season, but fixing an arm angle, not dropping it, and missing the same throw to your tight end, 3 weeks in a row essentially can't happen. If you're going to run the option game and not know how to attack the defender and make the pitch, that can't happen. Trying to do too much. Nope. Maybe pocket presence is something you have to work on in the offseason. Sure, I'll give him that. But Heinrich Harburg has proven he's a backup at this point. Teams have caught on to him. The game is up. They know what he is. Maybe he can find a way to be successful. Jeff Sims, I'm with you, has had every opportunity in the world. And Chubba Purdy as well. I mean, out of nowhere. The calls for him, I didn't really expect him to go in the game. He gets his shot, and he almost does the thing. He almost leads Nebraska 90-plus yards down the field for what would have been one of the greatest Nebraska redemption arcs in stories in recent memory. But with all 3 of those guys, there's not that it. There's not that gamer factor when it's tight, when it comes down to business. So then the question is, how did it get this bad? That there's not one guy on the roster who can consistently play quarterback at the Division I level. Not one guy that can avoid the back-breaking mistake in a key moment, or not even get to that key moment in the first place because you didn't have a mistake earlier on. How is there not one guy Nebraska can turn to? It's just frustrating, as a fan, because how many other, places in the country have at least one quarterback they can depend on? And my heart breaks for this quarterback room. I mean, think about this. Jeff Sims, all the athletic talent in the world, maybe needed some coaching and development, had a chance at Nebraska with all the gifts, all the eyeballs in the world on him, at his fingertips. Tough luck as teams are, the team is trying to gel early on. A lot gets pinned on him. Matt Rule says it's not all his fault, which is true. Quarterbacks get a lot of blame and get a lot of credit both ways. But for Jeff Sims, what a story it would have been to come back from that benching, take advantage of his opportunity, look really good, lead Nebraska to a win over Maryland, get bowl eligible. Would it have atoned for everything? No, but it would have been neat. Chubba Purdy, same thing. You were QB2, you're hurt, you're not looking like the guy that they brought in last year to learn behind Casey Thompson. You get a shot basically out of nowhere because the other 2 guys haven't seized the job. You do everything except finish the drive. You check out of a play call that your coaches gave you, which again, just take what's there. Don't try to do too much. Just do enough. And then the interception we talked about in Heinrich Harburg. Think about that, being the home state kid a few hours down the road in Kearney to be written off last year, to not really, get a lot of attention from the coaching staff, to get praise from this coaching staff, to come in as the number 3, elevate to number 2 because of injury. He had the chance to seize this job and run with it, but not one of these guys has taken full advantage of the opportunity to say, this is my job. I am a Division I starting quarterback. My team can depend on me. It sucks to say. Everyone's had an opportunity, and it's mind-blowing that not one of them has taken advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska would you wonder where they would be with just a game manager. You don't need somebody that can sling the ball down the field. You with this offense, teams are now prepared to stop the quarterback run, to stop the run. So, I mean, they to their credit, that is kind of what they bring to the table, and it has helped, especially in Harburg's case, to get to some wins. Well, only in Harburg's case, I suppose, but
right.
to get some wins. So, I mean, while their passing games are a big part of the quarterback play, and they are lacking, you do kind of got to remember they do have some strengths that they bring to the table, but and so that's where you kind of have to kind of find a nice landing spot where if you just had a game manager that could, maybe he's not, as big as these guys and take as many hits, but could just provide a little bit in the run game. And then you rely more on your traditional run game, which at times can be difficult for Nebraska to do. But again, you're talking about an offense that I don't even know what their average is at. They average 19 something coming into the game, probably down to 17, 18 something points per game after this game. And so it is really just kind of a game management. I mean, they had a few drives again today, but their scoring drives came off Maryland mistakes. I think they had a total of 38 yards on their 2 scoring drives. So it's just with this defense stepping up time and time again throughout the season. That's why to me, you got to get to a point, and I've been to the point that your strength is not passing the ball. That's very clear. You got to run more with the quarterbacks, and I think they did a little bit more of that today. But I think the next step for this offense, as it accepts who it is to accept field goals rather than trying to force touchdowns, which it can be frustrating. But again, that field goal could have made the difference. You lose by a field goal now. So, either of those choices, the field goal at the end, the field goal at the first half, you're in a different ball game there. And that's how you're going to win. You don't need to score 3 touchdowns a game. As much as that would almost be difficult to do out there on the field,
even if you avoid an interception, you go 2 more plays and you have to punt. Well, that's the other team starting on their 20-yard line, their 15-yard line instead of their 40 or your side of the field. Each one of these turnovers is a missed opportunity, obviously for points. But if this offense isn't going to put points on the board, it's a missed opportunity to, like you said, Iowa the crap out of it. Flip field, give your defense a chance to make a play. You get the ball at midfield, it takes a little bit off your offense's plate. But for as many of these turnovers that happen at the end of promising drives where field goals are an option to take off the board, so many also happen at the same time early in drives where Nebraska doesn't even get going and get off the ground and puts the defense in a bad position. We saw both of those today.
Yeah, it is frustrating because that's what the keys to the game now. If you go into it and you're a prognosticator, is no longer, usually it's just easy any football game. One of the keys to the game, turnover battle. Nebraska is just so bad at it. Nation leading in fumbles, nation leading in turnovers. And it's like, okay, don't lose the turnover battle by more than 2. where are to what your point? And I was thinking the same thing. Where are your turnovers coming from? Is it one of the nation's worst red zone offenses because these turnovers keep popping up? Is it, on the other side of the field where you give such a short field to, your opponent? It's just crazy that's at the point. And I feel that way, like talking about these games throughout the week. You want to be able to just bring it up and say, well, maybe they can win one of these turnover games. And it's when you say that, you don't even believe it. You're like, that's part of this team is to overcome the few times a game, because if they run as many plays as you need to in a football game, you just can't see this personnel, this offense not coughing the ball up or throwing interceptions. To their credit, I guess just one fumble today. They made up for it in interceptions, and give the defense some credit because Maryland had 3 turnovers. Javin Wright played a heck of a game. He got an interception, big fumble there near the goal line to set up the Chubba Purdy drive. And so sometimes you don't get that. The Michigan State game, you didn't get that. That's what probably lost them that game. Unfairly to say that, because the defense also, is keeping them in these games. But that at least gave Nebraska a chance today. But if you're averaging 2.7 and you nearly double that today with 5 and you only lose by 3, again, it's easy enough for anybody to see, but turnovers are the biggest Achilles heel of this team.
If this team was losing by 3 or 4 possessions with 5 turnovers, it's, take care of the ball and we'll see what happens. But man, if you lose by 1 possession this many times with this many turnovers, that eats at you more and more and more because of just how many opportunities you had to change 1 possession. That's all it takes. You didn't need to change 2 or 3 possessions. You just needed to change the outcome of 1 possession. And this is a completely different ball game. He's Bach. I'm Austin. We've got Ben on the board. We're going to step aside here on the Jay Foreman postgame show. No Jay Foreman, though, so it's the Austin and Bach postgame show, I guess. We'll keep talking about this. Don't forget, you can still send in your thoughts, 402-464-5685, or on any of our Sartor Heyman Jewelers live video streams. We'll keep talking about Nebraska's loss to Maryland here in just a couple minutes.
Lincoln Federal Savings Bank, personal banking like you remember.
Home. It's more than a place, it's a feeling. This is Eric Bertrand with Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. If you're looking for a place to call home, call me. Let's review your financing options and get you into the home of your dreams. Proudly serving Husker fans.
Personal banking like you remember.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. Winter is fast approaching. Have you winterized your sprinklers yet? If not, get it scheduled as soon as possible with Penner Sprinkler and Lawn before damage occurs that could turn an unfortunate winter into a rough spring ahead for your system. Plus, they are already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215. That's 402-413-1215. Penner Sprinkler and Lawn.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers, got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Find the ultimate sports bar experience at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill. Big definitely describes the Big Ten House Nachos, topped with pulled pork, barbecue sauce, and much more. Enjoy char-buffed chicken wings, coated in flavorful sauce, delicious pizza, and half-pound burgers made to cure your cravings. The bar features 16 different taps, including local Nebraska brews. There's a good wine selection and the signature Big Ten teenies served with champagne. Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill. Visit big10lnk.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman Postgame Show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Jay Foreman Postgame Show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
13-10, Maryland beats Nebraska. The Terps are bowl eligible. The Huskers are still searching for that 6th win. Austin Norman, Jake Bachhoven with you here on the Ticket's post-game coverage of the fallout from Nebraska and Maryland. Let's go to the text line here, Bach. We've got Craig, who asks, what are your thoughts if Heinrich Haarberg can't play next week? All the reports were that he was moving around on the sideline, but it didn't necessarily look great. An ankle for a mobile quarterback is not a part that you want hurt. If it heals, maybe Haarberg's your guy in Camp Randall, but hypothetically, let's say the ankle's too much. Again, Jeff Sims had the ankle injury earlier in the year. Let's say Heinrich Haarberg isn't at full go. Which way do you turn?
I think Chubba Purdy showed you enough on that spark of the drive that I would probably lean toward him. Again, I'm just I'm at the point with Jeff Sims that I just can't do it. I mean, he's had 3 turnovers again today. Didn't start, so didn't play a full game. Was about 2 quarters. The guy's just too turnover prone, and you had 3 or 5 or 3 or 5 turnovers today from him. This is the time to. I mean, the Wisconsin game Wisconsin looks gettable, obviously. Tanner Mordecai, I mean, they're out without their starting quarterback, I'm assuming, for another week because they're not putting points on the board against Northwestern. And they're in a tough spot too. So again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're going to have a few turnovers in the game, but let's limit how many turnovers those can be. I would put a lot of it on getting Chubba Purdy there. I mean, he can scramble. We've seen that before. You're not going to be asking for him to go out and score 30 points in the Wisconsin game. It's just limit the turnovers and move the ball when you can. I think there's just enough there for that. And they believe it too. They said before the season, they thought with Harburg and Purdy that they could win Big Ten games with him. I don't know if you can with Sims.
All of Nebraska's quarterbacks are some combination of like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston, to some degree more mobile than both of those guys. Nebraska just needs like a Blaine Gabbert or a Chase Daniel or Gardner Minshew, someone like that isn't going to, sure, they'll have their poor performances. Gardner Minshew's more than known for some of the bad performances as well as some of the good ones. But Fitzpatrick, so up and down, right? Some absolutely stellar performances, some, 4 interception performances. Same with Jameis Winston. All the physical tools in the world, pretty good processing, maybe overconfident at times. And you want to, respect guys trying to make plays, going out there, giving it their all and trying to make something happen. But at the quarterback position, some of that it factor, such as it is that steadying presence to not make the rest of the team feel like they have to gamble and make a play, to just be calm, like, hey, it's okay that this play didn't work. We have another opportunity. Hey, that's on me. That's on my bad. I forced a throw. It slipped. We got the next one. I'm not going to say Nebraska's quarterbacks aren't leaders and they're not trying to say that to their guys on the sideline, but their play says differently. There's no steadiness in this Nebraska offense right now. It's so boom or bust. There's no consistency in terms of sustaining drives. Put it on the players, put it on the coaches, whatever it is. I think having a dependable quarterback, dependable in a positive way, right? We can depend on Nebraska's quarterbacks to turn the ball over right now. But I don't even want to say game manager, but just a next play mentality sort of guy, a make the next right play kind of guy, I think would go a long way in just raising the floor of this offense.
Well, and you have to trust the coach's eyes as far as like if at practice Jeff Sims and Harburg just look that much better than Purdy, that's why they're in the position that they are. But there is such thing as a gamer, and I don't think Chubba Purdy is that because we've seen him in the games before. But I just think you're at the point of like, you put him out there. He led a pretty good drive. I think you put him in a bad position. He made a bad throw. Mm-hmm. He's going to do that too. Again, he's third on the depth chart for a reason. But give him a shot to prove that maybe he could go through a game with only 2 turnovers. I mean, that's all right. You're asking for. And I can't reiterate enough. I don't believe Sims can do that. I don't think that with your bowl season on the line, thin margin for error, that he's the guy. And I really don't think he has it. Like you're saying, just kind of this idea of time and score and possession and time of the game and all that stuff, because that was kind of the floater that he threw up to Malachi Coleman that got picked off in the end zone. Just like, not now. There's a time for a jump ball with Malachi Coleman. It wasn't then. You need to get some points there, even if you're, and I don't think he was heavily pressured, but take a sack or scramble, whatever it may be. I just watched him throughout the year. I don't think he has it. And I don't know if anybody on that roster has it, but because the other guys have proven to me that they don't, that maybe Purdy is worth a shot, because you have to remember too, he didn't come into the year if there wasn't an injury. Maybe he'd be your second quarterback, or has been described as the throwing quarterback. I think that it's time to give it an opportunity. If Harburg is down again, I don't know. At a certain point, you can't put Sims in. You just can't do it. I think you're pretty close to that point. Obviously, if injuries force you to do it, you're going to have to. But I can't see any way Jeff Sims, even with Harburg hurt, I can't see Sims starting that game.
We'll get back to that point in just a sec here. Jesse on the text line said he just started listening. Thanks for tuning in here, Jesse. He said, from the stands, it looked like Malachi Coleman stopped on his route on Purdy's interception that could have been a touchdown. Yes, I think from a certain point of view, that looked like the case. I said, maybe that's the case. It looked to me like he broke his route off in real time, but I don't know if he did that because that ball wasn't intended for him and it was just left short for Billy Kemp, or if he wasn't expecting the ball, thinking it was designed for Billy Kemp. Maybe it was a throw intended for Coleman that was high and out of his reach. Maybe it's too far in front of him. Right. So I think I'm going to chalk that one up to miscommunication. But again, that's a guy that where I just get done saying, and if you want to say I'm a hypocrite for this, I just get done saying guys shouldn't go out there and try to be the hero, try to make the play. But that ball looked like Malachi Coleman had a chance at it. Maybe it's intended for Billy Kemp, but there are two guys on there. I don't think that ball gets through. It's a big ask for a freshman to read the defense and kind of know what's going on behind him. But again, to have that field sense, like, hey, I'm going to try to get this ball. I'm going to give everything I have, put my 6'4" frame, my stupendous leaping ability and athleticism to the test, do everything I can to come down with this ball, and then try to plow a guy over on my way to the goal line. I don't want to say he gave up on it. I think it was miscommunication or a bad enough throw. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. I just wonder if he finishes that route at 100% if things aren't different.
Yeah, and I think we'll learn more about that throughout the week because, again, that's going to be brought up time and diagnosed and re-diagnosed and really, when you get to the bottom of what that is. I can't see him again, like you're saying, that was game on the line. I don't think he's just breaking off his route. I mean, it was a quick route, so it's not like, it's just like, it's not going to come to me or whatever. I don't think he was just like purposely breaking off his route. I think that he may have thought it was going to Kim because whether it was an errant throw that was aimed toward him, but it looked like it was kind of like trying to fit it into Kim to me as well. And maybe there was some room underneath. If it would have been a good throw to him, then I think he would have scored. But again, to me, it's not so much the play call, everything that goes into it. It's just the time of the game, the decision to go to the air with all your factors there are Chuba Purdy, who just came in for his first action, freshman wide receiver Malachi Coleman, and a banged up receiver Billy Kemp. So it just didn't make any sense to me to try it, even if you draw it up and it's there.
All right. So Stan and Bennett, let's talk through your question. Who is the number 4 quarterback? Heaven willing, we don't find out. But the problem is we feel like we're on the precipice of that. I believe it would be Jack Wosh, who went to high school at IMG Academy and transferred in from Ole Miss. If it's not him, it would be a fellow by the name of Luke Longville. We don't know. I personally hope we never see it. That'd be very sickos committee, Big Ten West, how Nebraska could this year possibly get if we see either one of these two guys. Heck, maybe it's Josh Fleeks. He's been with Matt Rule all the way around. He left the game injured today, so I hope that he's all right and doesn't show up on the injury report next week. But the fact that we even have to talk about QB4 and it's not related to injury, that's a problem.
Well, I mean, they've experimented with the option, obviously, this year. You almost get to the point. Remember when Nebraska was just running a bunch of Wildcat with Rex Burkhead because they just kind of gave up on their passing game there throughout the early portion of his career. I don't know if that would be a bad idea. I mean, some more Wildcat, maybe that sort of thing. I mean, it's not a good idea. It's not ideal. But it maybe kind of gets one of your runners. But I mean, I think that's what they kind of already have with some of their play calls. That obviously quarterback powers, and you can kind of substitute. Maybe they're not running backs, but Harburg and Jeff Sims for big bodied guys. So I don't know how much it would help to have Emmett Johnson do it or whoever do that instead. But it is to that point, but it also is as much as you don't want to see it, I kind of do, because I want to see somebody that can go out there and have 2 or less turnovers a game. That's all I'm asking for, and to get 17, 20 points out of your offense.
And hey, maybe QB4 would force the offensive coordinator to run the ball more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Bryce might have the line of the day. It doesn't look like it matters if it's Billy Kemp or Billie Eilish lining up at receiver for Nebraska. We haven't talked enough about that wide receiver room. I mean, we have at times, but lacking a big play consistency. a guy that is going to take the top off of defense consistently. I don't know if that's a skill issue, a talent issue, a physical ability issue, or again, are they being put in the right position to succeed? I don't know. I think it's some of everything. And that encompasses my thoughts on this offense as a whole. And don't worry, we will talk about the defense. I think we spent a lot of time on the offense. Once we hit 5 o'clock, I've got thoughts on the defense too. But nobody on the offense is good enough. Not any of the quarterbacks. Anthony Grant, you wish would have been able to step into RB1 role. He didn't. So credit Emmett Johnson, I think, for stepping up. Fedoni wasn't a huge factor today. Borgature isn't what I thought we could have expected from him at the beginning of the year. Wide receivers decimated by injuries. But again, not one of those young guys has, taken the reins of their position and said, yep, I'm here. Throw me the ball. I'm open all the time. I find a way to get there. And the play calling, it all works together. That even if you think Nebraska has enough talented pieces, I don't know if I would agree with that statement, but even if you think Nebraska has enough to work with at quarterback, enough at running back, enough at tight end, receiver, not to mention the line, it just feels like Nebraska is less than the sum of its parts. There's no way Nebraska should be averaging fewer than 20 points a game, even in an era of college football where there are more and more older guys because of the COVID eligibility. Averaging fewer than 20 points a game? How's that possible?
Well, and to that too, I think today, like it also surprises me with an offense that struggles so much in the passing game, has to rely a lot on the quarterback run in the traditional running game, that they don't get the tight ends more involved. Once again today, Thomas Fedoni just 1 reception for 9 yards. I know they targeted him another time, but Borgature has been invisible. It's nice to see him on the special teams get a run and conversion on a fake punt. But I think with those 2 guys, I would just feel like that would be, if you're going to go to the air, kind of a safe passing situation to go underneath to, and just try to muscle up and win those battles, rather than, hoping to get open, with your legs, which they just, again, they're either too young or they don't have the dynamic playmakers at wide receiver to do that. So again, I think that's another takeaway from today is just, where's the tight end involvement? Now, I do think that they did finally involve their running backs in the passing game, which they hadn't been doing all season long either. Again, for a passing game that struggles so much, not to target running backs out of the backfield or tight ends on short routes is kind of puzzling. So at least they got the running backs involved today.
Even if the running back swing passes weren't all that explosive, they at least gave a different look. They at least tried something new. And I can respect that. We'll finish this segment. Actually, we'll finish this hour with a couple texts from a man named Ashley. A couple good things to think about. We'll throw it to break. We'll wrap up this hour of postgame, but don't worry, we got another hour coming your way here in just a little bit.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln will have you scoring big on savings with up to $3,000 off CF Moto side-by-sides and ATVs. Whether you're looking for a work-tough U-Force or a performance-ready Z-Force, CF Moto has a machine made for you all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. And don't miss their Black Saturday sales event on November 25th with doorbusters and specials throughout the store. Visit their website, elwaypslincoln.com for more details.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. Personal banking like you remember.
Home It's more than a place, it's a feeling. This is Eric Bertrand with Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. If you're looking for a place to call home, call me. Let's review your financing options and get you into the home of your dreams. Proudly serving Husker fans.
Personal banking like you remember.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers, got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
The holidays are drawing closer, and there's not many things better than getting the gift of relaxation. Not just for yourself, but for anyone in your life. During November, for every service you get at the Body Shop, you get entered into their drawing for a free massage gift certificate equal to your last service. This goes all the way to the week before Christmas, so book your appointments now at thebodyshoplincoln.com and treat yourself and loved ones today. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over. Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through November 14th is spend $40 and you'll get to buy one, get one free on 8-ounce prepackaged sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up our first hour of the Bach and Austin show here. I'm Austin, he's Bach. We go to the text line. A man named Ashley sent a couple interesting things. First of all, yes, there are plenty of quarterbacks in Division I football who could have won this game for Nebraska. Plenty of them who could have won last week. Plenty of them who could have won Minnesota. This not on the roster. And, of course, you have to factor in the rest of the roster and play calling and whatever around that. So we've had that discussion. But I want to throw this out there, Bach. His second text says, I'm wondering if we lose receivers. If I'm a young receiver, I might be thinking transfer portal because the quarterback can't get the balls to me. There are two sides to that argument. Number one is the receivers don't trust their quarterback, so they leave. The flip side, and maybe the scarier option, is transfer portal quarterbacks look at Nebraska's skill positions and say, hey, they don't have enough guys I'm confident in there. I ain't coming.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get too worried about it yet. I mean, because these are young guys getting reps, and they're probably pretty excited at least just for that opportunity. But certainly, I mean, in this day and age, you can see out of any room a mass transfer for whatever reason. I mean, in college football, it's just roster management's crazy. So I wouldn't rule it out. But those sort of things, guys want to compete. Guys want a chance to play at this level and actually be able to play. So I mean, I kind of thought the same thing when Casey Thompson transferred in last year. It was like, if I watch that offensive line, I don't know if I'm a standstill quarterback, if I'd transfer in. You were able to get a Casey. So I mean, I think it'll play itself out. But I don't it kind of just is what it is. There's not going to be the top end wide receivers aren't going to want to come here regardless because you don't have a passing game,
or the recruiter to get him here.
Right. I mean, or the philosophy. They're not, that's not necessarily what they want to do long term either. So there's going to be other reasons for wide receivers to kind of look around if they want to. But I mean, this passing game, you're talking about the Big Ten West. If you're competing with those groups of teams, Maryland's the outlier in this conference. There's a lot of passing games that, although
we got some happy folks.
I don't know. Yeah,
are they Terps fans?
They must have been drinking a little bit. But there's a lot of passing games that don't look, while not quite as abysmal, not a whole lot better than Nebraska's playing at the Big Ten level.
That's just it. Bryce, again, still has the comment of the night, said looks like it doesn't matter if it's Billy Kemp or Billy Eilish out there for Nebraska's wide receivers. The results might be the same. But he asks this, is there a competent quarterback in the Nebraska locker room? The frustrating part is that each of the three guys that played today have moments of overwhelming competence, have drives that look like, hey, let's just do that again. Let's just do that again. Competency is harder than you would think to find, for this Nebraska quarterback room. But there are moments of, there are flashes. You're like, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe they get it. Maybe they know what the script is now. They can stick to it. But those moments and those competent drives are either sullied at the very end or they're undone the next drive.
Well, and too, I mean, it's all about adjustments that teams are making. Once they see what you do well, they're going to try to take that away and try to make you do something a little bit different. And then, it's just like game-to-game performance or game-to-game victories. Sometimes I think like today, Maryland beat Nebraska, therefore Maryland's better than Nebraska. Well, we saw it. I mean, it could have came down to any sort of plays there at times. So just because Harburg does this once means Harburg can do that and will do that consistently is not necessarily the case or any of those quarterbacks. So, I do think that there is something to kind of play to your own strengths. Maybe you're asking them to do too much at times, but you're not asking a whole lot altogether. So it's kind of tough, but maybe, break it down. We've heard about a simplified offense with Harburg came in as opposed to Sims, and maybe was that fair to Sims to compare it along with the opposition he was getting in the non-con. But I think with any of these guys, you need a simplified offense. You can't be asking too much, the drop back, sit back read. Where's your third guy third read on this play? They're just not there. And a lot of this is just on the fly, obviously. I mean, these guys, they've done a good job, kind of the old Osborne technique of having your second and third string get reps out there in the practice before the season and then a little bit in season as well to prepare guys. but ultimately they did not expect this role for Harburg. Therefore, he was not probably as prepared for it as you would want it to be. Obviously, the same thing for Purdy, and Jeff Sims can't get out of his own way for long enough to really test it. So I don't know. Again, to me, I go away from, well, maybe this could be the game that we score 37 and let's try all this different things to do that. I would embrace, this is a defensive team. We're going to kick field goals. I was up 6-0 on Rutgers near the end of the third quarter. I don't think it's quite that, but it's pretty much that. And try to get touchdowns when you can, but don't go outside of yourself to do so. Accepting field goals, it's hard to do. It's not even what you want to ask of your team, because you want to be able to take advantage of the opportunities you can. These are close games anyway. That 4 point as a touchdown compared to a field goal could do the same thing, but I think you've lost a few games by your hesitancy not to take field goals.
Well, aggression looks different on a team-to-team basis, right? It's not, you ran so you're passive, right? Call your best run plays. Call your creative run plays. Not going to lie, didn't love the fullback end around to Janarin Bonner, but it worked. It caught Maryland off guard. He made a nice move, trusted your athlete to make the move. He got in the end zone. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. It wasn't just, we're going to try to plow straight ahead. That wasn't, consistently successful. Hasn't been with this offensive line. But again, I go back to what we started the show with, was there's that line between predictability and sticking to your guns. There's that line between stubbornness and commitment to something like that. And again, it's part of the art versus the science of play calling. We'll wrap up the hour with this. Jesse on the text line shoots a shot. He's putting his money down.
Okay.
On Red 13. Jalen Daniels of Kansas will play for Nebraska next year.
Oh man. That would be nice.
I don't think he leaves Kansas. I think you're more likely to get Jason Bean than Jalen Daniels. But would Jason Bean even be an upgrade? He's kind of that same gunslinger. What he gives you, he will take right back.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be a little bit of an upgrade just because you're not asking for a whole lot. But
yeah, there's that.
I think is he a senior too, Bean?
Oh, he might be. I guess I didn't look into that before I threw a name out there. But anyways, Jesse, if Jalen Daniels of Kansas is the starting quarterback at Nebraska next year, please find your way into the studio and we will get a prize of some sort set up for you. Like, clip this segment, have it, keep it on your phone, make it your ringtone or your alarm every day. Because if Jalen Daniels is the starting quarterback for Nebraska next year, there's a big old prize on the line. Props to you.
And to like the receiver discussion that we were having earlier, would you transfer out or would you not want to come in? There's that. But I think the quarterback room, where Nebraska is as an offense and where they are as a program, maybe Matt Rule changes it. Maybe he's got a connection. But if Jalen Daniels enters the transfer portal, he's got about 26 other spots he'd probably pick before Nebraska. You know what I mean? Like that he could transfer to Florida State or whatever, whoever the top programs are that need a quarterback. That's where Nebraska's kind of landed in these last couple of years, because where they are in a program is you're getting somebody near the 18th best quarterback in the transfer portal. So basically, if you know the name, they'll probably be shooting upward and transferring to a better program than where Nebraska is right now. Unless, again, there's just some sort of connection that Matt Rule or one of his staff members have with an outstanding quarterback. Maybe he can get it done. But to me, the expectation this offseason is to go out and get a starter in the portal. But it's not necessarily for that guy to be coming in with all conference expectations.
We'll see if that starter is more Tanner Lee or more Casey Thompson.
Yeah.
Just for a couple examples. We've talked a lot of offense here in our first hour of the show. We got defense to talk about. We're not neglecting that side of the ball, just a lot to talk about on the offensive side. We'll step aside when we get back. We'll talk about the defense. Did it play well enough? Did it need to do more? Who had a good game? What's the outlook for that unit with 2 games to go in the regular season? Once again, Nebraska still searching for win number 6. Their first 2 cracks at it have been unsuccessful. We'll break down the Husker defense against Maryland, what our thoughts are on that performance today, and more when we get back to the Ticket post-game coverage.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln will have you scoring big on savings with up to $3,000 off CF Moto side-by-sides and ATVs. Whether you're looking for a work-tough U-Force or a performance-ready Z-Force, CF Moto has a machine made for you all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. And don't miss their Black Saturday sales event on November 25th with doorbusters and specials throughout the store. Visit their website, elwaypslincoln.com, for more details.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Winter is fast approaching. Have you winterized your sprinklers yet? If not, get it scheduled as soon as possible with Penner Sprinkler and Lawn before damage occurs that could turn an unfortunate winter into a rough spring ahead for your system. Plus, they are already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215. That's 402-413-1215. Penner Sprinkler and Lawn.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers, got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The holidays are drawing closer, and there's not many things better than getting the gift of relaxation. Not just for yourself, but for anyone in your life. During November, for every service you get at the Body Shop, you get entered into their drawing for a free massage gift certificate equal to your last service. This goes all the way to the week before Christmas, so book your appointments now at thebodyshoplincoln.com and treat yourself and loved ones today. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Great Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. We hear you. We'll talk defense. We'll do it. Austin Norman, Jake Bachhoven with you here. Putting a bow on Nebraska and Maryland. We'll be with you till right about 6 o'clock. That's when we'll wrap this up before I'm sure we'll talk about it some more on the various shows tomorrow as part of our Ticket Weekends lineup. And then, of course, a full day, full day of reaction on Monday. So, defense, Bach. How would you assess this performance? The numbers say 384 total yards, 283 through the air from Maryland, 101 on the ground. You allow 19 first downs. Maryland goes 6 of 12 on third down, 0 of 2 on fourth down. 5.8 yards per play. Nebraska's defense has 8 tackles for loss for 28 yards and 1 sack for 11 yards. You have an interception and a forced fumble and recovery. Just general thoughts on the defense today.
I thought they played pretty darn well. I mean, this is a good passing offense that they went up against. Not as good as what I thought they would be on the ground game, and particularly the fourth quarter and on that winning drive, Hibby was able to find some space. Which was maybe just, because you were thinking so much about defending against the pass. So that was a little bit disappointing. I mean, you got to remember, they had negative 47 yards rushing last week against Penn State. Nebraska had them at 0, I think, at halftime on the ground. And then they ended up with 101, which is the second time Nebraska's given up over 100 yards on the ground. The other one being to Michigan. So, maybe doesn't look as great there. But as far as like holding down Talia Gavoa, I thought they did a pretty good job there. I don't believe he threw for any touchdowns. He did have the interception.
Yeah,
he did throw for the one outside, which is, again, I think there's Malcolm Hartsock got beat twice on that 2-play drive. And so, that was obviously a tough drive for him. And then the Tommy Hill defensive pass interference, I mean, which gave them 15 yards and led.
He bid on a double move before
it was
as well.
It was a third down. And so that was really big. So, I mean, there's always plays that you can kind of point to. They only finished with 1 sack, and that came from Buford out of the secondary. So you would like to see more pressure there. But at the same time, I mean, Ty Robinson had such a good game to me that I'm starting to worry about him going to the NFL early. Like he's really helping his stock out. If they're able to bring him and Hutmacher back next year, man, that's going to be quite a front going into their senior seasons. But I think overall the defense played really well. You only give up 13 points to an offense that averages 30. It held them in check for most of the game, created 3 turnovers. We haven't seen that. That's been a big complaint, I suppose, about Nebraska's defense, which has been good, not great throughout most of the year. And why they say it's Terrell always goes back to why it's not great is they're not creating turnovers. They did that today. Deserved to get a win today. Just 2 fourth down stops. There's going to be a few plays, a few categories that could have been better. But and then the other thing, again, for Nebraska's defense and their offense, but part of the defense, just 1 penalty all game long. Again, hurt them really bad. But that is quite impressive, especially against a team that's going to pass a lot. You don't have any defensive holdings, any pass interference except for the 1. So pretty impressive stuff, I think, from the Blackshirts today.
Played well enough to win the game, but not in the biggest moment. Maryland is still 75 yards away from winning this game. I get it. Nebraska held on first and second down, had them in third and long. They take that shot. But again, if it comes down to that one play, and that's what swung everything for Maryland, that's a problem. Tommy Hill didn't get his head around. It was pass interference. By letter of the law, absolutely pass interference. But you've done everything right that drive. Maryland's 1 play away from punting and giving you the ball back, probably at your own 30-yard line, give or take, I would guess. And you have the pass interference penalty. Tough call, but it happens. Then respond. Make a play. They didn't at the end. You mentioned Hemby getting free. Bach, the end of Minnesota, Nebraska had to make 1 play, right? 1 play to push Minnesota out of range. They weren't able to do it. Michigan State last week, I get it was the offense that was, really lagging last week, but the defense didn't create that big play to help the offense out or spark anything. Allowing 20 points, the offense should be able to put up 21. Shouldn't be a big ask, but the defense didn't make a big play last week against Michigan State to help that cause. The sack from Buford was big, but for as much love as we give the defense that played 100% well enough to win this game, once again, it didn't show up in the biggest moment. Like in 2021, you need one more possession, one more stop. Sure, the offense didn't always put the defense in the best spots. Sure, the offense needs to score more than 10 points. Absolutely. But I think we keep letting the defense off the hook to some degree because they just can't finish the deal, just like the offense. The offense will get right down the field and fumble or throw an interception at the goal line. The defense needed one more possession, one more play, and they weren't able to make it. If this is a group that wants that responsibility, that's excited to go out there and try to, carry the team, put it on its back, I'm tired of hearing, well, they were in a bad spot. Make a play at the end of the game. Maryland is still at midfield after the pass interference. Make a couple plays. That's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, I can see that, but it's turnover after turnover after turnover. Nebraska had 3 turnovers on their final possessions, and it was like, so if you're asking like to make that play, they did that. They punched the ball out of Himby's hand as he was going in to score, to give the Maryland the score about midway through the fourth. So I get it. Then you're going to ask them to do it one more time with the time running out of the clock. They didn't get it done. But again, a third and long. I mean, I can't blame them too much for only giving up 13 points, creating 3 turnovers, and having to make up for 5 turnovers from the offense. Yes, they could have made one more play, but they've made so many plays just to keep Nebraska in that game. And
then that's my point. Then what's one more? Right? Are they that spent that they don't have one more in them? They can't cycle through enough guys to keep them fresh, like has been their calling card all year to make that one more play, right? They get so close on defense. And just as soon as I'm saying, I want to say this was a great elite defensive performance, there's that drive that Maryland had, that they drive down, they get the field goal. And it just seems so preventable, right? Like Hemby ran wild on that last drive. You stopped the run all day. Maybe it's schematic and Maryland took advantage. But adjust, in the middle of the drive. Maryland presents a run look. Do that, get creative with blitzes again. It didn't see a lot of that from Nebraska after the sack. Maybe it didn't get home. If you're a defensive lineman, take some pride. Find a way to make a play. I think Nebraska got Telly outside of the pocket quite a few times, but you got to be able to seal the deal. But at some point, I'm done with the narrative of the defense, there's just too much on its shoulder. The defense asked for this. Maybe it didn't, but that's their messaging is we want it. We accept the challenge. If you're telling me you accept the challenge, you accept the opportunity, you're excited to go out there no matter what the situation is, then prove it, make a play, and end the game.
Yeah, I suppose we just have to disagree on that one because I get you. I get your plea, and it's winning time, right? It's the opportunity to go out there and do it. And certainly on that final drive, a couple missed tackles on Himby that could have changed the game. Obviously, as we were stating earlier, the pass interference on Tommy Hill, he could have been 3rd and long. That could have obviously changed the game, saved the game maybe for Nebraska. But I think they played a heck of a game. I think Tony White's had a heck of a year. And again, I think that they've got a lot to work with as far as rotating guys in and out. And you've got a few guys, like I was saying with Ty Robinson, Jamin Wright had a heck of a game.
He did.
There are guys that are like coming along and having good, but I was a little bit worried about this game as far as the pass defense, because I think that front 7 or front 6, if you want to go with the 3-3-5, more often than front 7, is the strength of this defense. It looks really good. The secondary, it's playing Big Ten football hasn't been tested all that much. I thought they did pretty good for a Maryland team who's clearly pass first, threw the ball 40 times, and did all of this without Quentin Newsome. You wonder, and we were talking about this off air, you wonder if Quentin Newsome was healthy. Maybe had he been matched up on that guy, maybe Tommy Hill wouldn't have got that defensive pass interference, or maybe the Hartzog 2-play drive where he gave up 2 passes for a touchdown. Maybe that would have made the difference too. But you can only play with what you have. They weren't quite full strength and played a pretty good game. Just one play away.
Here's the final rationale for this take. And again, if you disagree, let me know. 402-464-5685. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Comments wide open for you. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me I'm being unfair. But let's look across the river. That is an elite defense that every time the offense doesn't make a play, steps up and gets the offense back on the field, creates a turnover, finds a way to score. That is an elite defense. Nebraska's defense is good, but Matt Rule, Tony White would tell you the defense can still play better, can still step up and make that. And I want those defenders to think that way too. They can say, yeah, we played a good game for this percentage of it, but can we do more to find one more play to make? Because I don't want to say it's, coddling them, but it kind of feels like it to some degree. Oh, you played, all but the last drive was good. Or, oh, it's okay, Malcolm, you played a good game except for those two. Or, oh, Tommy, you made a nice tackle, but you got burned on pass interference. For the most part, you were good. But it's okay. We can forgive that one drive. There's a lot on. You're a college football player. Go out there and make a play. If you want to be taken as seriously as Iowa's defense, if you want to put yourself in that elite game-changing conversation, trust me, I get it. There is much more blame to go on the offense. I completely agree. The offense needs more improvement than the defense does. But let's not pretend like the defense is perfect. Let's not let them off the hook and say, even if it was a good enough performance to win the game most of the time, today it wasn't. In part because of the offense. But again, if I'm a college football player, I'm saying, what can I do to make one more play if I'm on that defensive unit?
Yeah, and I think it too. I mean, you do want to ask for more. It's not like they weren't going out on that final drive thinking, well, it doesn't really matter here. We did pretty good today. And so, I mean, they want to rise to that occasion. That is a difference, in being one of the great defenses and being one of the good defenses in the Big Ten. Nebraska is probably a few plays short of changing a game and getting that final play that you need, or the interception return for a touchdown or something like that. And again, that's asking a lot for what this defense has to work with, but that's what the philosophy is. That's basically the game plan for Iowa. Their defense steps up to the occasion more often not to do that. And again, that's what amazes me and why I personally kind of like watching Iowa football, is because you go into the game thinking they need points from the defense or special teams, and they know that, and they get it. Like it's not like, well, 1 out of every 4 or 5 games, maybe they can finally get an interception return for a touchdown. It's like that's part of the game plan. Is you're going to need 3 or 7 points from your special teams or defense setting you up that way. It's amazing to watch. Nebraska, though, again, then you're talking about a guy, Phil Parker, that's been with Kirk Ferentz forever, and a guy in a first year defense. Again, maybe this is more excuses, but Tony White probably not that far as far along. So I think the future is very bright for this defense. I think,
agreed.
There's not a whole lot of seniors. Again, if you can keep some of those guys that might have decisions to make, you could really build off this season and really jumpstart this program with a defense moving forward. And I believe they will take that next step. Hopefully for Nebraska, it's next week. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later, maybe to save bowl eligibility. As we all know, that comes down to beating either Wisconsin or Iowa, and you've lost 9 straight to Wisconsin and 7 out of 8 to Iowa. So they're going to have to solve the riddle with this defense maybe finally stepping up and making a big play in one of those games. I don't want to say finally stepping up, but stepping up and making that game-changing performance play that gets them from, hey, you guys played really good, came up short because of the offense, to, hey, you guys made that game-saving play, which saved our season, got us to a bowl game.
4610 on the text line says, I give our defense all the props for picking up the slack of the offense. While Iowa's offense isn't flashy, I don't imagine they stick their defense in bad positions because of turnovers. Have you watched Iowa football over the last decade? They do stick their offense in bad positions.
To be fair, their offense has only been bad for about 4 years now. They used to have a decent running offense.
Right. But over the last 4, yes, Iowa's offense has put its defense in plenty of bad positions, but either the offense comes through at the very end of the game, or here's a funny idea, special teams, right? We laugh about special teams in the Brotherhood and Torrey Taylor All-American, but he changes games.
Yeah.
They get those kickoff and punt returns that change games. Cooper DeJean, should have had one against Minnesota, arguably. So if the offense isn't going to pick up the slack and the defense is going to be one play away, then you need a game changer on special teams. I'm not saying there's another DeMornay Pearsonell out there necessarily, but Ethan Nation got a crack. He got 6 yards on a punt return for the second longest of Nebraska's season. I get it that the teams were kicking off with the wind at their back quite a bit, but if the wind is, blowing into the face of the kicker, good field position, someone on special teams step up and make a play. Maybe that's another determining factor that we haven't talked enough about, and maybe why the Iowa comparison isn't apt. But yes, Iowa's offense has stuck its defense in plenty of bad positions. Yes, the defense, hasn't been perfect for Iowa, but has, gotten its way, wriggled its way out of more jams. And the defense and special teams find ways to amplify and augment what the offense does or doesn't do.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of value in comparing yourself to Iowa. Obviously, they're regionally, they can do a similar thing, but I don't think that's the goal, is to be Iowa. Now, defensively, the special team, the difference that they can make, I understand why the comparisons are there. But man, that game's going to be interesting as it comes down. I don't know if that Rutgers scores changed 6-0. But they're just such an outlier. I mean, you look at all the fun statistics with Iowa is like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but teams are like a 4-37. Power 5 teams are 4-47 or something like that in the last several years. When they have less than 170 total yards, and all 4 wins are Iowa. Again, they've got it down to that's their thing going into a game, is they're going to be trash on offense, and they're going to need the defense and the special teams to make those plays to get them the 7 or 10 points that they need to win the game.
It's 12-0 Iowa right now with about 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Let's take a break. Let's highlight some of those positive defensive performances. You mentioned Ty Robinson. Let's get into him. Nash Hutmacher, a couple big plays, and maybe the best game of Javin Wright's career. We'll get into that as we continue here on 93.7 The Ticket's post-game coverage of Nebraska's 13-10 loss to Maryland.
The holidays are drawing closer, and there's not many things better than getting the gift of relaxation. Not just for yourself, but for anyone in your life. During November, for every service you get at the Body Shop, you get entered into their drawing for a free massage gift certificate equal to your last service. This goes all the way to the week before Christmas, so book your appointments now at thebodyshoplincoln.com and treat yourself and loved ones today. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Celebrate Thanksgiving this year with Venue Restaurant and Lounge and Venue at Home with our Thanksgiving to-go meal packages. Our packages include sliced turkey breasts and roasted gravy, herb stuffing, Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, a harvest salad, and more, with add-on options to upgrade your feast, including smoked ham, prime rib, sides, appetizers, and desserts. You choose delivery right to your home or pick up at our Venue at Home storefront. Order today at holidaysbyvenue.net. That's holidaysbyvenue.net.
This is Rick Heyman, president of Sartor Heyman Jewelers. My father, Don, always insisted that Sartor Heyman never compromise. Not on quality, not on value, and not on customer service. For that reason, you can be sure that every item of jewelry you purchase from Sartor Heyman is the very best, no matter how small or how large. When it comes to jewelry, if we don't have it, you don't want it. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island, and sartorheyman.com.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln will have you scoring big on savings with up to $3,000 off CF Moto side-by-sides and ATVs. Whether you're looking for a work-tough U-Force or a performance-ready Z-Force, CF Moto has a machine made for you all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. And don't miss their Black Saturday sales event on November 25th with doorbusters and specials throughout the store. Visit their website, elwaypslincoln.com, for more details.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's special through November 14th is spend $40 and you'll get to buy one, get one free on 8-ounce prepackaged sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, don't forget there are 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's the Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, the Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop, and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Ticket postgame coverage. Maryland beats Nebraska 13-10. I'm Austin Norman. He is Jake Bachhoven. Bach, let's circle back to Ty Robinson. The defensive line, I think, did a solid job of controlling the game, especially early on. Not a lot of pressure, only the one sack, like you noted. It came from Marquise Buford on a delayed blitz. But Ty Robinson had one of the best games, one of the most impactful games of his career. Even with the shoulder being banged up, you could see it wrapped up in postgame. You saw him kind of limp off the field, jog off the field with his shoulder just kind of hanging down, but he came back in. Didn't seem to bother him. But on the night, afternoon, that's not a night game. Ty Robinson, 7 tackles, 2 of them were solo, a tackle and a half for loss, 2 passes broken up, a quarterback hurry. And it was that hurry that was just inches away from being a sack that led to an interception by Javen Wright, who we'll talk about next. But what do you make of Ty Robinson's performance today?
Well, again, I mean, this is a guy that played young at Nebraska and, has had his bumps and bruises along the way, but is really turning into maybe the best player on defense. I mean, I think he's probably kind of playing himself into that category. Nash Hutmacher's right there. Luke Reimer's right there consistently. Quentin Newsome maybe is in that category. That'll be interesting when they do the end of the year awards to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. But I think if Ty Robinson plays like he played today, he will take that crown because, I mean, he had his, you talk about a lineman that was bad. I mean, he might have led the team in pass breakups today. I think they gave him credit for 2. Mm-hmm. I think it seemed to me like he got his hand on 3, but he's just kind of always on the mix. Aggressive tackler. Again, maybe doesn't have the most sacks on the year. There are things that he could improve on. Nebraska altogether didn't get a whole lot of sacks today, though on the year they've done pretty well. But he's really coming into his own, I think, for a guy that we've all watched kind of grown up and have to play young. We use that excuse a lot for the guys on the offensive line that they haven't developed in the way that they needed to. And Ty Robinson, I think, has developed into a guy that if he returns for his next season, maybe I'm getting too excited about this one game. I just really liked it. And listening, again, I was helping out with Maryland radio. they're watching him where they were very impressed. So that's a guy that's going to play on Sundays. And I believe he subbed out for the big, was it the Hemby run, or there was something that was very well noted in the radio broadcast that, hey, Robinson's out. They got to, this is your chance to make an opportunity. That's how highly they saw of him. Just watching him today was that he was kind of the best player on defense.
Maybe a full circle moment coming for Ty Robinson next week. The first game I remember watching him was against Wisconsin on the road, and he didn't look out of his element as a young player. Didn't make a lot of splash plays, but he wasn't getting pushed around by a really good Wisconsin offensive line. We'll see if he can make some plays up at Camp Randall next week. You mentioned the interception by Javen Wright, just one of the many plays he made. 8 tackles for him today. Really nice toe drag interception, and then a forced fumble where Hemby's up in the air. He comes right over top, manages to strip that ball out. Really well done start to finish by Javen Wright. I don't know if he's overtaken Isaac Gifford in the starting Rover conversation, but you see the physical tools and some of the playmaking ability that make you think, yeah, that guy could have a future in football.
Yeah, it's awesome to see him come along because he's a similar guy. I mean, he's been playing special teams a lot, kind of, I don't want to say lost the Wisconsin game, but lost a guy out of the backfield last year. So it's, definitely be a full circle moment for him. If he can make the game winning play that we're asking for, maybe against Wisconsin, that would be nice. But, he's definitely got a nose for the ball and is a guy, again, that, like you said, isn't necessarily playing all the snaps. He's kind of still on that second rotation. They rotate a lot of guys, so he gets plenty of playing time. But you think about a guy that moving forward is only getting better. And, we've been able to talk to his dad, Toby Wright, in the studio here. And with any young player, you got to get the frustrations of, what am I not quite doing to be able to make that difference on the field. And he was a difference maker today. Obviously, like we said, with the one interception, athletic interception to get his foot in. But even beyond that, like he had a real nose for the ball and looks like a bright piece to the future that if he is starting, there's no problem there.
Nash Hutmacher on the defensive line had a big 4th down stop. Maryland 0 for 2 on 4th downs, but Big Polar Bear had a big stop there. Omar Brown, solid game, 6 tackles, a couple passes broken up, also forced a fumble. I'm more and more impressed with Omar Brown to that safety position. He was good early in the year, kind of faded to the background a little bit, but he popped out again today. And then Jamari Butler, only 3 tackles for him. 2 of them were solo, but 1.5 tackles for loss and in a pass breakup, rather, for Jamari Butler. Nebraska can always use more contributions out of that jack position. I mentioned in pregame, Jamari Butler, step up. Where have you been? He made a big impact there in the middle of the season. Had a couple quiet games. It was good to see him make a couple big plays for Nebraska in this one.
Yeah, I was just saying a tackle or 1.5 tackles for loss. That's pretty good. And I also thought, his linebacker brothers, Luke Reimer and Nick Henrich, also had solid games. These aren't. This isn't a run heavy team where you're going to stack up a lot of tackles, but at times the pressure from each of them caused Leah Talia to get out of the pocket. And sometimes make plays because he's that type of quarterback, but really to put pressure on him. I thought they did a pretty good job there. And again, it's good to mention all these name drop all these guys because it takes an entire defense. And for the most part, that entire defense played well all game long. And really is coming on again. I think it's just kind of fun to watch these guys evolve and become maybe the players that they want to be, as younger guys, but more kind of to what I'm kind of thinking is, early in the season, you could tell this defense was good, but it was hard to put like a figure on it. It was like, all right, well, who's going to be the leader of the defense? Who's going to be guys that can contend for all Big Ten contention? Guys that when an opposing team plays them, you can kind of get that other coach's vote where it's like, man, that guy was kind of tough and really messed up our game plan there. And I think there are a few guys that are rising to that level. To the point where, early on in this season, it's kind of like, yeah, they're good, but they're a no-name defense. If they can get a few of these guys to return, I think you're going to get some preseason recognition from some of these black shirts.
You sure will. Nebraska, as a defense, came into the day allowing a 34.8% conversion rate on 3rd downs. Maryland played itself out of more than its fair share of 3rd down conversions with 10 penalties for 92 yards. Put themselves behind the sticks a lot. But again, in a way that Nebraska could help shut the door on some more possessions, I think of Maryland's 6 3rd down conversions, at least 3 of them were on 3rd and 7 or more, if not 4 of them. Nebraska let Maryland off the hook a couple times, which I think makes it even more frustrating that guys were sometimes in positions to make a play, and those long 3rd downs that, for as solid as open field tackling was, in those moments to get off the field, it wasn't great. Maybe credit Maryland for good scheme on 1 or 2 of those. But that's another thing that I think makes this so frustrating, is that Nebraska opponents don't get penalized 10 times for 92 yards. Maryland was wildly undisciplined. It took itself out of some really advantageous spots where you felt they had some advantage. They were on the move, or they just got themselves way far behind the chains, or even gave Nebraska extra yards with some extracurriculars. Just another thing that we don't see out of Nebraska opponents, which again is a little frustrating.
Well, and again too, the holding that wiped away a heartbreaking interception on a day where you already had 6 or 5 turnovers, that would have been 6. But that was kind of the frustration again working with the Maryland guys, was like they felt like they were the better team and they were giving it away with all those penalties. Also mentioned home cooking a little bit because Nebraska didn't have any penalties against them, but again, it was like, maybe they didn't know, but Nebraska didn't have any penalties against them on the road against Michigan State. And, so as that continues, I think that's, and I don't know, maybe there will be a game where it just kind of all piles on Nebraska and they get their 10 penalty game. But I think that is something to look at. That's mighty impressive for 2 games, 1 penalty. Somehow coming out 0-2 out of that is not ideal, but it does kind of show you where Nebraska is to a degree. There's a lot of different ways to kind of measure it. But that's a team that's getting better. We talk about being an undisciplined team. In one category, you're going to have turnovers, and that's going to speak to how undisciplined a team is. And Nebraska's leading the nation in those categories in a bad way. But it would be a lot more frustrating if you were getting 6 or 7 penalties with 70 yards of penalty yardage every game. That would really put Nebraska out of contention in a few of these close games. So that's one thing I think is very impressive for Matt Rule and staff as we look at just how disciplined a team is. This early in a tenure, a team that under Scott Frost for a long time, that was a big part of the complaints, is that they've seemed to be playing some pretty clean football. Now, they got a long ways to go as far as playing turnover-free football, but clean football, they've got a pretty good go at it the last couple of weeks.
If you've got any final thoughts on Nebraska and Maryland, let us know. 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line. Whether you are driving in your car, listening on the free app for your phone, or you're sitting at home on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Also want to thank Allo Channel 951. Thank Allo for giving us that channel. Give us your final thoughts here on Nebraska and Maryland. We'll go over those when we get back. Maybe take a look at the national scoreboard as well. He's Bach. I'm Austin. We'll wrap up our post-game coverage after this.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619. Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through November 14th is spend $40 and you'll get to buy one, get one free on 8-ounce prepackaged sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had 14 years of successful treatments with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for joint pain today at southpointmedical.com or call 402-323-8400.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha. Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers. Got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We'll wrap up post-game coverage here. Nebraska loses to Maryland 13-10. Huskers still searching for that elusive 6th win. Austin Norman and Jake Bachhoven with you here. Let's just take a quick spin around the Big Ten. Bach, we'll start with the headlining game of the day, a top 10 matchup in Happy Valley between Michigan and Penn State. Gonna pour some gas on the fire for Nebraska fans when they hear this. Michigan in the second half ran the ball 32 consecutive plays, 32 straight plays. Michigan runs the ball. Nebraska fans look to Happy Valley with a sense of longing.
That's right. I still think like Michigan, we talk about the physicality and the long-term like build and vision of Nebraska. I still think it's on the right track because I think they're trying to mirror Michigan rather than Ohio State. All these teams want to out Ohio State, what Ohio State does best with all their best players and the flashy offenses. I think the physicality is the best way to go. I think Michigan's the best program to emulate, maybe outside of some of their sideline stuff.
The other two games that have gone final in the Big Ten outside of Maryland and Nebraska, Illinois and Indiana play the least Big Ten game in a long time. Illinois storms back from a deficit 48-45. The Fighting Illini take down Indiana. They have a 500-yard passer in John Paddock, 507 yards with 4 touchdowns. Isaiah Williams, 9 catches, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Reggie Love III, 24 carries for 140 yards. Illinois, not in great position in the Big Ten West, but they're 5-5, 3-4 in the conference, which is the same as Nebraska, 5-5, 3-4 in the conference, which is the same as Northwestern, which is the same as Wisconsin. After the Wildcats go to Camp Randall, control that game from start to finish. 24-10, Northwestern beats Wisconsin on the road. Nebraska hasn't won in Camp Randall. If you're looking for Nebraska to get win number 6, maybe it's not as far-fetched in happening a week from today as it might have seemed before.
No, I mean, I think this is the game to do it, to be honest with you, because I think Iowa, its defense is going to be licking their chops to play Nebraska's offense. And anything can happen against a team that doesn't score all that much like Iowa. But I think the Wisconsin game is very much out there for the taking. Now, Trent Mordecai did come back, did not help. Only went 31-45 for 255 yards, added 25 yards on the ground, no touchdowns, no picks. But this is a Wisconsin team that's now reeling. They've lost 4 out of 5, including 3 in a row. The recipe for a reeling Big Ten team, unfortunately, lately has been Nebraska. So a little bit of worry there. But I mean, we always talk about things in sports and stories lining up. How about Nebraska finally getting to bowl eligibility by having to beat the team that they could not beat for all these years? You just feel a little bit better about it if Nebraska was beating a good Wisconsin team. I don't think that's the case necessarily in this, but there are no good teams in the Big Ten West. They're just teams.
That is true. We had a hashtag significant to some watch in Iowa City. Iowa had 1st and goal with a minute and a half to go inside the Rutgers 10. They decide to kneel it out. 22-0 Iowa. So the under, it hits 22-0. Iowa beats Rutgers. One game in progress right now, Purdue and Minnesota. Again, a very anti-Big Ten game here. 14-10 after the first quarter, 28-20 at half. Purdue led, and then the Boilermakers have poured it on. It is 49-23 Purdue right now. With a loss, guess what Minnesota's record would drop to?
Sounds like I'm going to guess 5-5 and 3-4 in the Big Ten.
Bach, you nailed it. Good job.
That's where 5 out of the 7 teams will be here in a few minutes when that game goes final. Are going to be 5-5 and 3-4 in the Big Ten. And if you're following along at home, that means that if Iowa beats Illinois next week, they will clinch the Big Ten West. If not, then maybe Nebraska still has a chance to have to look at all the breakdown. But if they lose to Illinois and then Nebraska beats Iowa, they'd have the head-to-head there. You have to see how some of those other things play out. But the Big Ten West looks like it's probably going to land in Iowa's lap this year.
It sure is. So let's take a quick spin around the rest of the top 25 here in our last couple minutes. Florida State only up a touchdown on Miami. It's 27-20, about halfway through the fourth quarter out there. Washington looking to put the finishing touches on a win over Utah. It's 35-28 Dogs right now. They've got 2nd and 5 at the Utah 8 with about 2 minutes to go. Missouri, former Big 8, former Big 12 foe, all over Tennessee, who had beat Missouri by about 40 points the last 2 years. But it's number 14 Missouri holding serve at home and then some. 36-7 Missouri over Tennessee, Bach.
Still a surprising big year from Eli Drinkowitz, who has got it coming in needing a big year.
Sure was. Alabama rolls over Kentucky 49-21. How about this out of the Big 12? Texas Tech beats Kansas. You know what it was? Mahomes magic. He was in attendance today.
It could be much needed win there for Coach McGuire. Texas Tech's had a struggling year. kind of frustrating. I kind of like Kansas football just because they don't have a whole lot. And they finally get into the top, they're 16th in the playoff rankings, and we'll see them fade.
Elsewhere in the Sunflower State, Kansas State has no issues with Baylor, 59-7. The Wildcats roll over the Bears. UCF gets its second Big 12 win 1 week after Bedlam. Number 15 Oklahoma State poops the bed, 45-3. UCF over Oklahoma State at the Bounce House.
That is surprising too, because the new Big 12 teams have struggled to beat the old Big 12 teams this year. Oklahoma State, the nation's leading rusher. I mean, I have to look into what happened there.
I have an Oklahoma State friend who said they look wildly unprepared for the rain, the little drizzle happening in South Florida. He's not very happy with Gundy, who, luckily for him, did just enough to keep his job with the big Bedlam win.
Yeah.
Also, two other top 25 games to get to. Tulane continues its high wire act, 24-22. The Green Wave beat the Golden Hurricane, that game in Tulane. And here's the balm for you Husker fans. We saved it to the end for a reason. Arizona struggled in the first half, but they come back and they beat Colorado on a walk-off 24-yard field goal in Boulder, 34-31. The Wildcats take down the Buffaloes. That'll put a bow on our post-game coverage here at 93.7 The Ticket. It's Maryland beating Nebraska 13-10. The Terps are bowl eligible. Huskers have two more cracks at it. They go to Camp Randall next week. They welcome Iowa then on Black Friday. We'll be here. We'll tell you all about it as we move forward. Plenty more reaction to come tomorrow as part of the Ticket Weekend. Plenty more for you to hear from us as we break down Nebraska and Maryland on Monday. For Bach and Ben, I'm Austin. We appreciate you hanging out with us all day. Big thanks to Sartor, Heyman, and Allo for all they do for the station, the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. For everyone, I'm Austin. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Nutrition Authority presents Activator. University studies have shown that Activator helps with building muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Activator is for male and females of all ages who want to look, feel, and perform their best. Activator can only be found in Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that Potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Hi, this is Cameron Hall, owner of Doors Plus. If you're looking to upgrade your garage door, my team and I are here to help. Doors Plus represents 5 major garage door manufacturers, so you have plenty of options when looking to upgrade. Doors Plus prides itself on a fast but reliable service with a 3 to 5 week lead time to complete your entire project. We have multiple commercial installation crews in order to get your project done efficiently and correctly. Give Doors Plus a call for your new commercial garage door at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is Rick Heyman, president of Sartor Heyman Jewelers. My father, Don, always insisted that Sartor Heyman never compromise. Not on quality, not on value, and not on customer service. For that reason, you can be sure that every item of jewelry you purchase from Sartor Heyman is the very best, no matter how small or how large. When it comes to jewelry, if we don't have it, you don't want it. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island, and sartorheyman.com.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had 14 years of successful treatments with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for joint pain today at southpointmedical.com or call 402-323-8400.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand